Hi. Hello, English.
Uh,
Hello. Hello.
Assalamualaikum.
Yeah. Do you
What's
want to
up?
know why? Hello. Do you want to know why I'm here?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm here to show people the behind the scenes of industries that abuse animals. What industries do you think abuse animals?
All of them. The dairy industry, the egg industry, the cattle industry. There's probably a lot of pet industries that people are unaware that have really immoral practices.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Good. Are you a vegan, by the way?
No.
All right. Okay. So, who do you think's responsible for the animal abuse that happens?
Um, the people who pay with their dollars to have it happen?
Exactly. Exactly. Have you had a conversation about this before?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so do you want me to show you what happens in these industries?
You can. I've seen it multiple times, and I'm also a hunter and a fisherman as well.
You're a hunter and
So
a fisherman.
it's probably in some cases some of the footage you show me regrettably I've seen maybe worse of.
Alright.
Possibly, but probably not.
Okay, this is... Okay, let me show you. Okay, when my phone decides to work. Okay, there.
Often is a different color than the females, allowing for quick sorting.
This is the egg industry.
Unable to ever produce eggs themselves, and a completely different breed to the chicken.
The male and female chicks are sorted onto separate conveyor belts. Here at Australia's largest hatchery, they've been genetically modified to make the males a different color than the females, allowing for quick sorting. Unable to ever produce eggs themselves and a completely different breed to the chickens used for meat, the male chicks are considered waste products, as are any females perceived to be deformed or weak. They are sorted onto a separate conveyor belt from the healthy females in their first day of life and sent into an industrial blender called a macerator. This practice is legal and referred to as humane by the RSPCA. Smaller hatcheries may use carbon dioxide gas or simply suffocate the chicks in plastic bags. All commercial egg farms, caged, barn-laid, free-range, organic, RSPCA approved, involve the killing of male chicks to a total of roughly 12 million per year in Australia.
Okay then.
Male chicks are considered waste products, as are
Yeah, so this is the process where they breed or they try to section out the male
Yeah.
chicks from the female chicks, right?
Yeah.
Because the male chicks have no capital gain, so they just put them into a shredder,
Yeah.
and then that shredder turns them into compost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So... Do you...
This
So,
practice
do you
is
think
legal
it's...
and
How do you feel about animal abuse, by the way?
I think that animal abuse is probably wrong. I think that defining animal abuse is the thing that we would probably be most interested in,
Okay. Do you
because it's
think...
kind of like a broad thing, right?
Would you consider that what I just showed you animal abuse?
Um, probably, probably not. I think that animals,
Don't.
in terms of like, yeah, I think that animals, in terms of like legality and governments, are sectioned into different kinds of animals. I'm judging by your accent. You probably live in the UK. I'm not
Yeah.
quite sure the laws there, but in the
Oh.
United States, we have laws that have different. We have different distinctions for animals and what is and isn't considered abuse. I
Yeah,
think that
but
if you're a vegan, you could probably call those laws speciesist, but that's what
speciesist.
makes them quote unquote legal in society. Yeah.
Okay. So, do you think that just because something's legal that makes it ethical?
Certainly not. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm asking morally, do you think this is animal abuse?
Um. Yeah, I would say that it's probably animal abuse. It's probably not animal abuse, right? It's probably animal killing, right? You're probably killing it. I think
So,
that abuse, I don't know how you guys use it. I'm sorry, I don't know how you guys use it in England, but in the United States, we use like abuse as like you have a bad effect for a bad purpose or misuse. But what you just showed me, that
yeah.
was killing the animal. That wasn't really abusing the animal.
Oh, so by abuse you mean like for a continuous period of time? You mean?
Yeah, like repetitively. So, like if you treat an animal abusively, you're enacting cruelty or violence, especially in a regularly or repeated manner, for
All
sure.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But you think it's wrong, basically?
Yeah, I think that it's wrong, but I think that's not the actual thing that people care about in this instance.
What do you mean?
So just because something is wrong, so for example, just because somebody could say that putting the chickens through the shredder is wrong, that actually doesn't have any value to their life. And it's something that they won't actually act on. So I'm sure if you went up to like a plaza full of people and you
Yeah.
showed them that video,
Yeah.
they would go on with their friends or their mates to have
Mhm.
coffee and maybe have a pastry. And that
Mhm.
pastry would probably have eggs in it, right?
Mhm.
So ignoring that feeling that they get when
Mhm.
something's wrong offers more value to their experience of life.
Yeah, that's a good point. But what about you? Why are you like that? Would you say that you ignore injustice to spare your feelings?
So I would say that I think that sneaking the word in injustice there, I don't
Yeah.
agree to that. But I
Yeah.
definitely, there are certain things, because I'm non vegan, that I ignore that give me a great amount of life satisfaction, for sure.
Okay. So why wouldn't you consider this an injustice?
Because I think that justice normally has to do with some kind of legal system, and I think that animals probably aren't protected in the legal way that you want. So what you're probably asking me really is, why don't you think there are more laws around protecting animals, right? I
Mhm.
think that justice comes from a legal system.
All right, but I'm saying morally, like an injustice.
Hmm.
Would you consider it morally to be an injustice?
Um, you're asking me, do I think it's morally wrong, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could say that it's morally wrong or morally right. I think that it's probably it's indifferent to the actual things that people value.
No, no, I'm saying, okay, so you morally don't think this is an injustice, you just think it's morally neutral.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, so,
And actually, and trying to figure out whether or not the killing of those chickens is actually morally wrong or right, I would say is inconsequential to a majority of people's lives. And
okay.
considering that question actually brings them more discomfort than comfort.
Well, that's easy for them to say because they're not the victim. If you were the victim, would you say this is an injustice?
Well, for sure, but I'm a human.
Okay, so the reason why this is not an injustice is because they're not humans.
Well, when you keep using the word justice, I refer to a legal system because you
No,
can't have justice without. Sorry, go
okay,
ahead.
morally, I mean, morally. So morally, it's only an injustice if it's a human, and not for a chicken or a pig or other
No,
animals.
I think that you can extend animals moral consideration, but it's really up to you whether or not you want to extend moral consideration to them. So for example, I'm a pescatarian. I only
Yeah,
really eat fish. However, when I go out with my friends and family,
yeah.
I eat if we're going to a barbecue or we're going fishing together, I'll participate along with that. I know that I'm causing animals to suffer, but the
Hmm.
relationship and the experience that I get with my family is
Yeah.
worth those animals suffering.
Oh, so you think? Oh, so it's morally worth it. So it's no longer a moral injustice because you're doing it with other people.
No, I don't think so. I think I can say that it's morally wrong, but like I said earlier, that fact doesn't actually matter because the thing that I ultimately value is what experiences give my life satisfaction. I don't intrinsically value what is morally right or wrong. That's almost a tool that I could use to try to figure out what is valuable in life, but deciding whether something is or is not morally wrong doesn't mean that it's something that is desirable.
Okay, so if someone wanted to chuck you in a blender because they decided, it's morally it's convenient for me, like it's desirable because all my friends are doing it, and yeah, it doesn't really affect me emotionally. Should that be stopped?
Yeah, I would say that could be stopped for two reasons. I think that it could be stopped because I don't have a preference for it. And I could say it for three reasons.
Okay.
Number one, I don't have a personal preference for it. Number two, I think that they would have to present an argument why they wouldn't want that done to themselves, also being a human. And then third, I think that organizing a society around where people just find it convenient to kill other people like that is probably not a society that anybody wants to live in.
Okay, so let's go one by one. So the first one was...
I don't have a personal preference to be killed.
Well, let me write these down.
Sure.
Okay. One, I don't have a personal preference to be killed. Okay, then what's number two again?
I think that number two would be, I think that asking that person, right?
Asking that
would you
person.
want it done to you, right? So reciprocity. I don't think that they want that action done to them as being another human. So being another, this is what you would write down.
Yeah.
Being another human, you wouldn't want that done to you.
Okay, so what was number three?
Number three is, I don't think that I would talk to that person again and say, I don't think that it's a good idea to organize society around this notion where we can just go haphazardly killing other humans.
It's not a good idea
to form society.
Form society as such. To form society such that
we can go around killing random people, right? Indiscriminately killing random people.
Killing random people indiscriminately. Okay.
Yeah.
So
nobody. I think if I went up to any human and I said, "Hey, would you like to live in a society with a law that protected humans and the humans' right to live, or would you like to live in a society where somebody just walked around and you never knew when you were going to be killed?" I think that 99.9% of people would choose the first society where we had laws and norms that protected human life.
Okay, so we can go through that. Okay then,
Sure.
So number one, you said you don't have a personal preference to be killed. Do you think that
Correct.
the chickens have a personal preference to be killed?
No, they probably don't, but that personal preference is none of my concern, right? Because I get so much value out of killing a chicken.
Okay, so
and I'm not a chicken.
Okay, so what if the person who wants to kill you gets so much value out of killing you?
Then I would try to appeal to them on those other 2 points. And if not, if those other 2 points didn't work, then I would have to appeal to the law, right?
Okay.
Or I would have to try to defend myself.
Okay, so that's the first one. So number two, asking that person, would you want it done to you as a human? So you're saying this only applies if you're a human and not for chickens, basically.
Correct, yeah. I think that ultimately humans care more about humans because we are humans, and how other humans are treated is kind of indicative of how we might be treated. So like I said, ultimately, I don't think that any human would want a carte blanche or a total moral law or some kind of law. I use moral in the wrong way there.
Okay.
No human would want a law to say that, hey, I want any human to be not considered. I think that human beings want moral consideration.
Okay. So you're saying only for humans though, like you only
Correct.
It needs to be not chickens. Chickens, it doesn't really matter if that's
Correct. I would consider it a morally neutral act, and for a lot of people, killing a chicken brings their life a lot of satisfaction.
Okay,
Or
so-
raising chickens.
Okay then, so what I'm going to ask you is, what's the morally substantive difference between a chicken and a human that means that it's okay to kill the chicken for eggs, just in this context, and not humans? What's the morally substantive difference?
Well, I would say that humans are able to reciprocate values, and also they are humans, right?
Okay. So, reciprocate values. Okay then, so... Okay, so, say for example, I took a human being who say they have a mental disability and they can't reciprocate values.
Sure.
They can only do it to the same extent a chicken can. Would it be would it be okay to, chuck them in a blender because they don't lay eggs?
No, because we as humans understand that mental handicaps and whatnot are possible to happen to us. So I think that most humans would understand that just because our cognitive faculties might get disrupted, that doesn't mean that we want to die. So creating a law which protects all humans, right? Humans are the things that I care about. It's not whether or not a human is lame or deficient in a certain area. It all matters that they are human. So I would think that that's wrong.
Okay, so so it's not really about the reciprocating values. It's more about the fact that just because they're human.
So yeah, I could come at it from that angle too. So for example, if there was a human that wasn't able to reciprocate my values, I think that also we have an understanding. I'm going to put a little bit of context in here, and we can break this out of context if you want. I think that we have an understanding among other humans that if somebody is I don't know how Britain does it. I can only talk for the United States. If somebody is kind of a little bit lame or has like a cognitive deficiency, normally their rights or their autonomy is just granted to another person. So for example, one of my second cousins, he's mentally handicapped, right? But he actually has no control. He has no legal right to himself, right? So for example, he can't, sign documents or whatever the case might be. My aunt is his I forget what the fancy word is. She's like the moral confidant, right? So we understand that killing a human in that point of view is kind of going against the will of the person who is morally responsible for that other human. So I would disagree with that on that grounds as well in terms of reciprocity.
So the reason why it's wrong to kill your second cousin, it's not because it's bad for your second cousin, it's just because it's bad for your auntie.
I would say that ultimately, well, for two reasons, right? For my first reason, yes, it's bad for him, right? Because I value human beings and human experience. And then secondly, I think it leads to a society, right, not upstanding or not realizing that transferring moral it's not moral ownership, I can't remember the term, it's like moral responsibility for another person. I think in society that should be upheld. So on those two fronts, I would say that that's why it's wrong to kill a mentally handicapped person in that regard. Okay,
so you're saying it's because you wait, can you just repeat that? Like, so what specifically? Because I'm asking for a trait because I don't want, because a lot of the time people discriminate between different beings. I'm asking for a particular trait. So you're saying because
I'm saying species. I'm saying species and reciprocity.
Okay, so
reciprocating values.
Okay, so we can talk about the species. What is about a species that makes it that's morally relevant? What's about
well, because I'm that species, and I think that it would be kind of hypocritical for me to say another member of my species isn't morally worth it and still maintain moral value in myself.
Okay, why doesn't that extend outside of this species?
It can. And matter of fact, many societies have decided to extend moral considerations to like dogs and cats for like animal abuse laws and whatnot. But whether we want to extend that, right to animals is dependent on what we as a populace want. Right.
Okay,
So, for example, there's some parts, I think in Burma, like a country close to India, it's actually, I actually don't know that for sure. I think that there are some counties, though. I don't know what they would call them in India, but in the United States, we call them counties, where it's primarily Jains. And Jains are, people of complete nonviolence, and so they want to have a legal stance on making sure that other beings aren't killed. So they extend moral consideration to all beings.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, so those other communities do that, and they extend it to all beings.
Correct. Animals,
So why couldn't we do that with chickens?
We could, but the fact is, we get a lot of life satisfaction out of killing chickens.
Okay, life satisfaction. Okay, so we can go back to the mentally disabled human who can't reciprocate values. If we get a lot of life satisfaction out of killing that human, and say the person who's responsible for making decisions for that person, they're fine with it. Is that okay to chuck them in a blender because they don't lay eggs?
Ultimately, no. I would say because of species, right? I don't want to create a society where it's okay to kill humans. I don't care about other beings. Humans are the things that I care about.
Okay, then. So it's not. Okay, so it's not the. So it's not just the reciprocation. It's just because you wouldn't want it done within this species, but other species, you think that's perfectly okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so So why is that? Because it seems like you're discriminating.
Correct. Among species, correct.
Okay, so if someone wanted to discriminate, so do you think discrimination is fine? Basically.
No, I don't think discrimination. I know this is kind of like a loaded question. You're asking me, what you're really asking me is discrimination among human beings fine? And I think that if you applied this kind of outlook, you would say no. And the reason for that is you wouldn't want other kinds of people discriminated against because you want the best possible society for you to, be healthy and prosper. So discrimination among human beings is perfectly not okay. I shouldn't have said perfectly. Discrimination among human beings is never okay. However, discrimination among animals, that's okay.
Okay, so discrimination against humans is not okay, not because it's bad for those humans, because it's bad for society.
I would say that ultimately, so I'm going to walk it up from like an individual level to society. Discrimination among human beings, I don't think that anybody, right? I'm going to start from myself. I don't want to be discriminated against as a human being, right? Yeah. And I think I have an argument for other people why they would not want to be why they would not want to be discriminated against. Okay. And then if I can get enough people to agree, which in the Western world, the Eastern world, Africa, South America, everywhere around the world, it seems largely that people generally understand. There has been historical instances, right? Nazi Germany, that's like the famous one, right? That where people did discount or discriminate against certain people. But everywhere in the world, we kind of understand as humans, hey, if we want our preferences and right to life to be valued, we can't discriminate against other people, right? Because they're humans too.
Okay, but so you're saying the reason why it's wrong to discriminate against other humans is because we don't want them to discriminate back?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so... Okay, what if we discriminated against humans who can't fight back?
That would probably be a very bad idea, because the argument that I would say is, hey, what if it ends up that there's one day where you can't fight back? You as a human wouldn't want, just because you can't fight back, that doesn't mean that you would want to be discriminated against, right? I would say you're creating a world that's less likely, or I would say you're creating a world where it's problematic in terms of valuing all human life. Not just theirs, not just your own, but all human life, right?
Okay, so do you think just because the chickens can't fight back, that means that they want to be discriminated against, so it's fine to discriminate against them just because they can't fight back?
Well, it doesn't matter what a chicken desires, right? They're not a human, nor do they have the ability to reciprocate any values.
No. We've already been through the reciprocating values. I said mentally disabled humans who can't reciprocate values. You said that because the humans can't fight back, that's why we don't discriminate against other humans. I'm saying, so we try to equalize so that the human can't fight back either. So why is it okay? Why is it wrong to discriminate against the human and not the chicken?
Because a human so first off, so you asked me the question about whether or not a human could fight back. And I would say, if somebody came to me and they said, hey, that person doesn't have the ability to fight back, we should take advantage of them, I would say that's not right. Because as a human, right, you could be in that position where you could not fight back, and you as a human would not want to be taken advantage of, right? Okay,
so do you think that these chickens as chickens don't want to be taken advantage of, or do you think they're just like, oh, I want to be taken advantage of?
No, yeah, for sure, chickens want to live, but whether they want to live or not isn't any of my concern.
Why is it not?
Because they're not a human and they can't reciprocate values.
Okay, that's circular. I said a human who can't reciprocate value. Okay, so a human, right? Can't reciprocate values. They can't contribute to society. They're not able to fight back.
Correct.
So those were your traits. So what's the morally relevant
So those aren't my traits.
Okay.
The trait is human right there, right? So no matter whether or not, so you're talking about actual traits of humans right now. I'm talking about the trait of being a human.
The trait of being a human. No, I'm asking,
so for example, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm asking what's the morally relevant difference between the individual human and the individual chicken. What's
the morally relevant? The reason that I give moral consideration to a human over a chicken is because two things. A human is a human, right? Speciesist, right? And the second thing is that a human is able to reciprocate values, right?
Okay, so we're taking a human and a chicken, right?
Yep.
So the human with trait equalized, they can't reciprocate values, can't contribute to society, not able to fight back, everything you just said. The only reason why it's not okay to kill the human and it is okay to kill the chicken is because simply because they're a human, they're a chicken. That's the
correct. They are human, and then if we really wanted to get down into the nitty gritty, if you recall, we value. When somebody has some kind of handicap like this, we defer their moral consideration to another person. So my aunt in my instance, right?
Okay, so they don't actually have any extrinsic, do you know the difference between intrinsic value and extrinsic value?
Yes, so something is what for sure.
So intrinsic value is like you're valued yourself because you're a sentient being, you have desires. Okay, and an extrinsic value is like my computer, it's valuable just for me. Okay, so do you think that the human who are described who can't reciprocate values, can't contribute to society, can't fight back, outside of being a human, do they have any intrinsic value? That means it's okay to... Is the only reason why they have intrinsic value just because they're a human?
Correct, exactly. So from your
Okay.
exactly, this distinction is perfect.
Okay.
So from intrinsically, human beings have value to other human beings because they are the species Homo sapien. And then
Okay.
extrinsically, human beings have value because we can reciprocate other people's preferences and desires. That's like the perfect way of explaining it.
Okay.
Human
So,
beings on two cases, they have value. The traits
yeah.
and their values come from an intrinsic point of view and an extrinsic point of view.
Okay then, so but we can talk about the intrinsicness, because like extrinsic value, that you could just remove that by saying, oh, the ant might just not care about them anymore. So I'm asking
For
about
sure.
the intrinsic value. So
For sure.
intrinsically,
Yeah, they're human.
the only difference just because they're a human. Okay, so that's why I'm saying it's discrimination. It's a double standard. You're discriminating against the chickens based on something
Correct.
that's morally irrelevant.
Yeah, I'll admit that.
Okay,
and I think
so
that discrimination is worthwhile.
it's worthwhile. How is
Correct,
it
yeah.
worthwhile?
Because people get a lot of
Okay.
I don't know what kind of communities you live in. I live in the
Yeah.
United States.
Yeah.
I'm sure that eating egg products or
Yeah.
chicken products is like
Yeah.
a big pastime for a lot of people in where you live. And there's a lot of people that form a big sense of community and a lot of sense of just like tactile pleasure with each other, and just a lot of social value comes from the acts of harming chickens.
Okay, and so what if the people say they got the human being who are brought up, they can't reciprocate values, they can't contribute to society, they're not able to fight back. If they got if they were, say they enjoyed the taste of the humans, and it brought them a good sense of community, like they enjoyed socializing, eating that human. Simply, the only difference is because they're a human. The only reason why that's wrong is because they're a human.
Correct. Yeah. So you're not asking me a question. You're just restating my answer, right?
Yeah.
Yes, they are a human. That's why they have intrinsic moral value. Correct.
Okay then. So, do you think? Okay, so you admitted that this is discrimination, right?
Correct, but I think the discrimination is probably like poisoning the well a little bit, because when humans hear discrimination, we think about discrimination against other humans, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about discrimination against animals at large, right? And chickens in this specific example.
Okay, I'm not saying that all types of discrimination are the same in every way, but I'm saying it's the same type of mindset. You're saying X isn't like me, therefore I'm going to just destroy them. I'm going to take the rights away from them because they're not like me. That's the same mindset that all discrimination has, right? That's like, it's like if you were raised around racists, they might say, I'm not, they might say that I'm not like you, so therefore I don't deserve rights. I'm not saying it's the same thing. I'm just saying that it's a dangerous mindset to go down when you just think that we should just be able to discriminate against each other because of morally irrelevant differences.
So first off, I would not say that they're morally irrelevant, right?
Okay.
I think that they have a lot of value. And second off, I would say to any of your listeners, listen to the way that discrimination is being used. So discrimination itself is not a quote unquote bad thing. It's how we use discrimination, right? So if we're discriminating against other humans, we have arguments for why that's not preferable. However, when it comes to discriminating versus what kind of cereal you want or what coffee shop you go to, discriminating in those senses is okay. You have to be very clear when you're talking about, hey, discriminating is bad. Discriminating is just a fancy way of saying choosing or making distinctions between some things. Now, if we wanted to get like down in the weeds about the actual dictionary definition of discrimination, I think it's like making choices because something is making unjustified choices between two things, right?
Yeah.
But I would say that I'm trying to have like a good faith conversation and saying that you're probably just saying when you say discrimination, you're just talking about an actual choice, right?
No, because you said that is more than one type of discrimination, like deciding what coffee shop you go to, deciding what and there was also like when you discriminate
what kind of trainers you want.
Beings. No.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, sorry.
What kind of trainers you want versus like, oh, I get to decide who deserves rights and who's not based on something morally irrelevant. What you're doing here with these chickens, you're doing the latter. Like, you are discriminating against against individuals based on something that's morally irrelevant. The difference between choosing between different trainers, that's well, if you grant that the trainers are all vegan, they're all good. Like choosing between different trainers, that doesn't have a victim. That's a personal choice there. But when you're talking about taking someone's rights away, that's not a personal choice. That has a victim.
So we have to make a clear distinction. I would agree with you when you say taking someone's rights away, but someone in this sense, for anybody who's listening, sounds like humans. But I'm not talking about that.
Okay,
I'm talking about taking, quote unquote, the rights of chickens away. Okay, and there's one more thing I want to say about rights.
Yeah, wait.
Rights. Go ahead, sir.
Wait. So are chickens not? So are you denying that chickens are someone?
Chickens are not. So okay. Maybe this is just, once again, from across the pond, we might have different terms for certain things.
Yeah.
When you say someone in the United States, normally you're talking about a human. Yeah, are you talking about, when you say someone, do you mean animals as well?
Sentient beings, yes.
Someone so then I would talk. So then I would have to then I would ask for you in this conversation, can we use a different word other than someone? Because can we use non-human animals, right?
Non-human animals, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's okay to discriminate.
When I'm talking about both, because I'm saying both, because I'm saying you're discriminating against you're discriminating based on something morally irrelevant. Someone means that they are an individual. That's why I'm saying someone. Right?
Okay.
I'll say non-human animals when I'm only referring to non-human animals, but discrimination is when you're discriminating against beings in general.
Okay.
Okay, so that's why I'm saying what you're doing is not analogous to picking between which fruit you like the best. It's more analogous to discriminating. It's discriminating. You're deciding which beings deserve rights and don't based on morally irrelevant traits. I'm asking you, do you think that's okay?
No, I would say that those are actually, I would say that being a human and also being able to reciprocate values are actually very important relevant traits, or moral traits.
Okay, yeah, I already went through the reciprocate values. I said a human being who can't reciprocate values, and you're saying just human. I'm saying that's not
correct.
morally relevant, because then you could just say, oh, race. I don't believe people of this race deserve rights.
They have that ability. Correct, and this is unfortunate. Nazi Germany, certain Japanese people during World War II. I'm sure this happens throughout the world. There are going to be people that are going to try to distinguish between races, right? However, I don't think that those people can offer a compelling argument to actually say that humans of a different race are not the same species.
Okay, but once again, I'm saying species is not morally relevant. I'm saying you don't have.
I'm saying it is.
Okay,
for me, it is.
Well, why is it morally relevant?
Because I'm a human.
Okay, that's okay.
And I want moral consideration.
Okay, that's the same. Oh, I'm straight. I deserve moral consideration. Gay people don't like.
I'm sorry. You're a what?
It's like saying, oh, it's like if a homophobe was to say, oh, I'm straight, I want rights because I'm straight, but gay people, oh, they don't deserve rights because they're not like me. I'm saying that you're saying someone doesn't deserve rights based on something that's morally irrelevant. I'm saying that
they can say that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna jump to this. I feel like we're jumping a little bit, but I'll jump to address this.
Yeah.
They can say that. However, I would say that I would say they can hold those beliefs. There are people in the United States that hold those exact beliefs. I cannot do anything to say that those people ought not hold those beliefs. However, introduce argument, like if I was talking to one-on-one, I would have to introduce arguments and have conversations about why the races are equal, or all sexuality should be respected, right? I can have that conversation with someone, but at the end of the day, the same way that Nazi Germany decided to neglect those distinctions of human beings, everyone in the Western world, everyone in the Southern world rejected that. Well, except for the Japanese and the Italians for a while. We rejected that. And I think that that's a good thing. If you show me any society or any person who has these kind of beliefs, I'm going to say that those are not the kinds of people that we should be emulating. We should be trying to change their minds. And if they're not, and they're aggressing on us, I think we ought go to war.
Okay, so you're saying we should go to war based on people who have discriminatory beliefs against humans?
Against humans, yes.
Okay, that's why. Okay, I'm saying we should also... You haven't given me a reason why we shouldn't extend that moral respect to other species of animals. So not only do you hold discriminatory views, you're also... you're also actually acting on them. You're paying for animals to be stabbed. You said you shoot animals. You said you drag fish out of the water.
And fish. Yes.
Yeah, you said you're actually acting on that.
Correct.
You said that we should fight back against Nazi Germany because they don't have a justification. I'm saying humans, you don't have a justification. Yeah, you don't have a justification. Why only humans? Why? Because you can't differentiate humans from other animals in a way that, if true of it, you can't differentiate animals from humans in a way that, if true of a human, would make you reject rights for that human. So I'm saying you have a double standard, and you can't justify that.
Well, I would say, so first off, I'm going to say three things here. Mm-hmm. All right. I think ultimately my trait, of species, of human, is justified. Okay. Are you familiar with like an axiomatic point, like an axiom, in philosophy?
No.
So axiom, go ahead. Sure.
Okay, you can explain it to me. Okay.
So axiom is like a fundamental philosophical belief that people have, right? Okay. So ultimately, everything is more or less circular, right? When you get down to the core of a philosophical belief. Yeah. I start my philosophical belief, and I believe that 99, I would say, I'm being conservative, I'll say above 90% of all humans start with this same belief, that they are a human, and they would want their species to be morally considered. Right. Okay. What about the difference between? Go ahead.
No, go on.
The difference between the difference, or the trouble that I'm feeling in trying to convey this to you, is we have different definitions about, or not that we have different definitions. I just think that when we talk about the species of human, that's the thing that I'm concerned about when you say someone. So when you say someone, I hear that and understand that you're talking about all sentient beings, but I immediately start to disagree with you after you say the word someone, because I'm only talking about the species of humans.
Okay, but I've made it very clear, by someone I'm referring to sentient beings, right?
But I'm not using that term, right?
Okay,
I don't use that term that way.
Animals are just no one then? They're nobody?
No, animals are animals, right?
Humans
are sentient beings.
Humans are
correct.
Animals.
This is why I suggested the term non-human animal.
Okay,
right?
Non-human animal. When I'm saying discrimination, that's not just
Yes.
exclusive to discriminating against humans. Discrimination can happen to a human or a non-human. That's why I'm saying someone.
Correct.
It applies to
And I
everyone.
think that non-human animals that cannot reciprocate human values they're morally neutral.
Okay, so wait, so it's morally neutral. So you said your axiomatic point is because you just have an axiomatic point that, you know, we should only value humans. What if someone said their axiomatic point doesn't apply to all humans, or it just applies to I only value straight people because my axiomatic point...
This is perfectly fine. This is I understand where you're going. This in philosophy, you can do that.
Yeah.
Anybody can do that.
Yeah.
However, I'm not ultimately, well, in my society, I guess in some regards, I am super concerned about that, where my legal system is right now. However, people can do that. People can have different...
And act on them as well. Should they be allowed to act on their homophobic views?
No. This is...
Okay, so why should you be
this is clear. If you think it out, let's just go ahead.
So you should be allowed to act out on your axiomatic point based on other species of animals.
Correct.
But
yes,
we can't act on our axiomatic points for humans.
You can, and if you do, you're going to jail or you're going to be killed.
Is it ethical to act on your axiomatic point against humans? Is it ethical?
Whether that is wait, hold on, my axiomatic point?
No. If a homophobic person has an axiomatic point that it's okay to just kill kill gay people, like a lot of people did, a lot of people still do, they have an axiomatic point. It's legal in some places as well. It's their axiomatic point that they just don't morally value gay people. They should be allowed to act on that just because it's their axiomatic point.
I would say they should not be able to act on that. And I would work to construct... What?
So why?
Because that other person is a human. It doesn't matter what somebody's race or sexuality is.
1 second. Yeah.
No problem.
Okay, I'll have to talk quieter. Okay then, so you're saying that humans should be allowed to... Okay, why? Okay, so you should only be allowed to act on your axiomatic point because the chickens aren't humans. That's the only reason why I shouldn't be allowed to act on your...
So I think that there's a little bit of confusion here with the word act. So if somebody believes anything, they can do what they want. If somebody believes that now I'm going to take that. So if you believe something and you want to act on it, you can do that.
Wait.
If you ask me the question, hold on. If you ask me the question, should Cain be able to... So for example, I'll just walk through an example. If you say, Cain, I think I should be able to walk into, Adidas and steal a pair of trainers, right? That's my axiomatic point. I would say, Cain, you can believe that.
Yeah.
But I am going to try to convince you that that's not a good idea on the grounds of reciprocity, right?
Yeah.
But if you believe it, I will offer you arguments to try to disconvince you. But ultimately, if you say, you know what, English, I don't care, I'm going to go steal those trainers. I think that in society we have a system for people who act against these things that we would not consider moral.
Not always.
Right?
Not always. There's countries where it's not legal to murder gay people.
And I think that ideally as humans we ought work. I'm making a moral statement. As humans, we ought work to include all humans in terms of moral consideration, sexuality, race, and any other.
But their axiomatic point does it include other humans? So
they can do that. Just like you can think that stealing Adidas is okay. We can all say, hey, everyone in this call, Cain is wrong for stealing Adidas, and we can try to help you to understand that stealing private property is not a good idea. And if you're like, I don't care, I'm going to take a knife and I'm going to steal these Adidas, we can call the law, right?
Okay. But I'm saying it's
So
not.
you
It's
can
not
act
always.
on-
It's not. There's countries where it's illegal to do things that.
And I condemn those countries
you
morally.
okay,
Yes.
so I condemn you morally for saying it's
That's
okay.
fine.
Okay, so do you think? Okay, so I'm asking
That's
you.
fine.
Okay, so you believe that you should be morally condemned, basically?
No, from your point of view, you're just telling me that
Just
you
you.
find my view morally condemnable, right?
Yeah.
You can believe that. That's fine.
Okay, but I'm asking you. Okay, so do you believe you should be morally condemned?
Well, no, because like that would be like reductive, right? You're asking if my own idea. You're asking, in my head, should my own ideas be not considered by my consciousness?
I'm saying this. All right, I'm saying right. I'm not gonna get into a meta-ethical discussion about where morality comes from.
Yeah, neither do I.
I'm making an argument. Okay, so you think that it's more that homophobic people should be morally condemned, right?
No, I do not. I never said that. Matter
you
of
don't
fact,
think that
I've
homophobic
said on
people should-
record that all humans around the world should not be discriminated or condemned for
I'm saying,
their sexuality or
I'm saying,
race.
do you think so? You think that people who just basically discriminate against
I think those people are
gay
morally
people-
wrong, correct.
Okay, but you're not morally wrong. Okay.
For discriminating against non-human animals?
Yeah.
That is correct, yes.
You're not morally wrong. Okay, just because.
It's morally neutral in my eyes. Whether I
Okay.
do... so, for example, this is something I do, Cain.
Yeah.
If there's a spider or a beetle that comes into
Yeah.
my house,
Yeah.
I have a bug box in my house.
Yeah.
So if there's a spider or a beetle that crawls into my house, I'll pick it up and I'll put it back outside, right?
Okay.
I'm a pescatarian.
Yeah.
I drink oat milk. I drink soy milk. If I
Yeah.
ever want any kind of meat for my own household,
Yeah.
I will buy plant-based products. I'm completely
Okay.
plant-based, except for when I'm in my social circles that
Yeah.
that have to do with like harming animals. Then I do it because I get a lot of value from harming non-human animals.
Okay,
That's
well,
all I'm saying.
Okay, so we can talk about social circles, but we're just saying, right?
Social circles really isn't relevant. I'm just trying to explain that
Yeah,
I have a
exactly, it isn't
belief that I
relevant.
get a lot of value from that has no harm towards humans, and that's the thing that I'm concerned about.
Okay, so you believe that you should just be able to discriminate against humans.
No, I don't. I don't know why you keep saying
Oh,
this.
no, animals.
I'm going to say it on record
animals,
now.
Sorry,
I will
animals.
never
Yeah.
discriminate against any
No,
human of any cognitive level, sexuality, or
no,
race.
I said that wrong. So you believe
Okay.
it's wrong to discriminate against. You believe it's wrong to discriminate against humans, right? But not animals.
Correct.
Okay, so you haven't.
Morally neutral
so
on
you-
animals,
so
yes.
you have a double
I
standard.
extend moral consideration to them whenever I want to.
Whenever you want to, okay, but
Correct.
you think humans should always be respected, but
Yes.
animals is just your choice.
Correct.
Yeah, so-
Correct.
Okay, so I'm just, my point is, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is discrimination, all right? It's a very
Against
dangerous-
non-human animals, correct.
Yeah, that's a very dangerous point of view. That anyone else could
Go
have.
ahead.
I don't know who's like laughing. Anyone else could just as easily do that with other types of human beings, right? And that leads to very bad things. Okay. So
Correct. I would agree with that, Cain.
So your worldview is you probably want to change it, and
My
I'll say this.
worldview does not open up to discrimination against humans. That's
Yeah.
the
Hey,
that's the
Cain.
problem that we're having.
Yeah, hey, who's this?
Follow.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'd like to step in, if you don't mind.
Okay, are you a vegan?
Yeah.
Okay, step in. Okay.
All right, so English, how's it going?
How you
So-
doing, Fallen?
I heard a little bit about your conversation, and I think I
Sure.
see where you're saying that the moral value you ascribe to not be slaughtered requires that you're human, right?
Yeah, it's kind of, I think that if I'm trying my best, I can say, yes, the species human, and being able to reciprocate, and or being able to reciprocate values that we would have as humans.
All right. So a question I have is, if all or most of those traits are required, would you extend those values to a human who's, for example, mentally disabled?
We did this already, Fallen. Yes, I would. I would extend it to them because they are the species human, and furthermore, I think that the reciprocation that we want in society, those people fall under moral consideration. I think that us as a society have deemed those people worth morally considering, and to the protectors of those people, we want to extend those rights.
So the trait that gives them the value is societal acceptance, right?
Incorrect. The traits that give them moral value are their species and or being able to reciprocate human values.
Okay, well, there's a couple things to say to that.
Sure.
One, so the first one is about the reciprocation, actually.
Go ahead.
So if I could point to mentally disabled individuals that are not capable of any greater level of reciprocation of rights than a lot of animals we factory farm, then it would form a contradiction with those individuals not being factory farmed, for one. And the other thing I want to address
hold on. Do you want me to address your points one by one, or I can't write them? I'm not in the place where I can write them down.
All right. Just to start with that one.
Yeah, so I think as humans, it's unfortunate that we are very fragile creatures. And over the course of our lives, we understand that it's possible that we might fall into a mentally handicapped state. And when we understand that, we know that we would not want those rights of existence to be taken away. So that's to address the first point.
So the trait that's given is that people who are currently mentally disabled can't be factory farmed because people that are not currently mentally disabled can end up in that state.
So for two things, yes, they cannot be factory farmed because they are the species human, and furthermore, they cannot be factory farmed because we reciprocate values still to those human beings, whether it be through a legal matter, whether it be through a law-abiding person, like as in a moral caretaker for those people, or because we understand that we have the possibility to become those people, so we extend empathy and moral consideration to them.
Okay, well, there's a couple things I could say to that. The first one being the human gene factor. So if hypothetically we had an individual, and by the way, this actually has happened in the real world quite a few times before.
Sure.
That was exposed to radiation from polonium, and their DNA was altered such that they're technically no longer part of the human species by calculus of their DNA.
Gotcha.
Would it then be okay to factory farm individuals like that?
I'm going to answer your question, and then I'm going to add on to it to make it more difficult. I'm going to say that person still has the ability to reciprocate human values. And I would also say if there was a species of alien that came to Earth, right, and was not human, like quote unquote this person that you're talking about now, we as humans would see the value in also extending our moral system to make sure that they were not harmed as well.
So, okay, that's fine. But the point I want to get at is it's not actually the trait of being part of the human genome. It is other traits that are associated with being human, like the intellect and whatnot.
Incorrect. It's an and/or statement. It's species and/or being able to reciprocate values, human values.
Okay, so are you saying that if you have only the trait of being part of the human species, like if you're in a coma, for example, and you can't feel anything, that person still has moral value?
That is correct.
Okay, well, a question I would have is if you have a person that is in a coma, like a complete vegetable state, their consciousness is zero, and you know for a fact that there's absolutely no chance of them coming back. And then you have 10 orangutans, for example, and you have to kill one. Are you going to choose the 10 orangutans to kill or the vegetable human?
So I'm going to make this as difficult as possible. I have no moral decision over whether or not this coma victim was. I'm going to make this hard. Let's say my significant other was this coma victim, and I'm just going to ask 3 simple questions. There's no chance of them
hold
coming
on.
back.
I have to interrupt because the hypothetical was not
Dodging.
your wife or anything like that, or anybody you knew.
Sure.
It was just a person. Like, this is in a logical vacuum. We've got a situation where you have to pick one, right? You've got the 10 orangutans in the lab, and then you've got this one person, and you need to extract something from either the 10 orangutans or the coma patient. Mm-hmm. Which one would you choose?
In a logical vacuum, I would choose the 10 orangutans.
You would choose to kill them or choose to keep them?
Well, if you're asking, the decision is to kill 10 orangutans or to kill a human that has no possible who is dead, right? Can you admit that the human is already dead?
In a
They're
sense.
not coming. Yeah, so I would choose the 10 orangutans. Especially in a logical vacuum. This is an easy decision, correct? Yes.
Who are in comas, who are technically alive, but they're not conscious, they can't do anything. Like, he's asking which one would you kill?
Which one would you put a bullet through the head of? Like, would you put a bullet through the head of the coma patient or put a bullet through the head of each one of the 10 orangutans? That's what I want to know.
In a logical vacuum, if somebody is in a coma, they're never coming back, and there are 10 well, healthy, and alive orangutans, I would kill the person who is dead.
Okay. Well, the person in question was a human, and
correct.
That was a trait that you named to ascribe value to. So that does form a logical contradiction, which is going to open up a lot of problems.
So do you want me to address that before we go on?
Well, before we get to that, I just want to be clear. When you do have a logical contradiction, it does basically allow a moral system that justifies basically everything.
Principle of explosion, yes. This premise, so the coma patient, I would say this is made under an unsound premise. So the first thing that you're saying is this coma patient is never coming back. They do not have any sentient operation, correct? They are dead. They're never coming back. They are dead. If you're asking me to judge in a vacuum, nothing else, no other context, right? Judge whether or not I'm going to kill a already dead human or 10 orangutans, I'm going to kill the already dead human and then look around in this logical vacuum and say, okay, I killed a dead human. What's up, orangutans?
So are you saying that you're adding another trait, which is that for the human trait to matter, the human has to be conscious?
Correct. I'm saying and or. So an and or statement means both of the conditions can be met or one of the conditions can be met. Kind of like in computer programming. If a human is a human, I grant them moral consideration. If a human has the ability, if a human is a human and also can do reciprocated values, then I grant them moral agency. If a sentient being is able to grant moral consideration through reciprocity, then I also give them moral consideration. It's an and or statement.
Okay, so let's say we put the consciousness of a human into a pig. The species is pig, but the pig's experience is equal to that of your average human. Would it be okay to factory farm pigs like that?
So let me restate to make sure I understand.
It's just a yes or no. I'm just asking for a yes or no here.
I'm asking for clarity on your question, so I'm going to repeat your question back to me, back to you, and then you're going to tell me yes to make sure I understand it correctly. Is that okay? I'm trying my best here, my dude. I'm trying my best. This is a hard topic for me to talk about.
I can see.
Okay. So here we go. So you're asking me if we took human consciousness and put it into a pig, would it be okay? Would it be okay to kill that factory farm that being? Correct?
Hold on, repeat that. Your mic cut out on my side a little bit.
Yeah, no worries. So your question was, is it, am I okay with having a pig putting a human consciousness inside of the pig and then factory farming that creature, correct?
Yeah, the same degree of consciousness that a human has.
Okay.
Like put that in a pig.
Okay. So I don't understand what this is, so I'm going to ask a further question. When you say put human consciousness into a pig, what do you mean by that? What is human consciousness that you're putting into a pig? What is that?
Basically you take a human and take all the first person experiences that they are capable of having, and you put that consciousness into a pig.
I don't think so. Okay, maybe this comes down to our understandings of like consciousness. I think that human consciousness arises from the material components of the human anatomy. So that's where we're having it. I'm struggling to understand. So when you say take a human consciousness out of a human being's anatomy, I don't think that thing exists. So you can't, I don't know how you justify or how you understand it.
Whether or not you think that it exists is irrelevant because the hypothetical entails it.
Okay, yeah, sure. So what's the hypothetical again?
Yeah, so we've got pigs that have the consciousness level of a human. They've got like the same degree of pain, suffering, understanding, that sort of thing.
Yes.
And I'm asking you if we can like holocaust those pigs.
I would say no, because that pig is not actually a pig. It's a human in this hypothetical.
Oh, so the trait human.
The DNA is still a pig, right?
Yes.
Okay,
it's
so
a pig.
Okay, so that's not.
But its brain has been like enlarged such that it has like the experience and consciousness and depth that a human would experience, basically.
Okay, so
this isn't a pig. It's like it's a new being. Physically, it's a new being.
No, it's still a pig.
I disagree with this. I don't think that this premise is sound. I think that the
DNA,
way I understand
the DNA of the pig is still under the species of pig, because if it breeds with another pig, it'll still be able to reproduce. That's the definition of a species.
Okay.
All right, so the simple thing I'm asking for is a yes or no. Would it be okay to holocaust, those pigs that have now like the consciousness, intelligence, and like the same level of pain experience that your average human would?
I'm going to say no, because I think that pig is not actually a pig. It's a human.
Okay, well, it seems like what you're trying to do is change the trait of human to be, instead of referring to the DNA of a human, it's actually all the other qualities of being human, like the consciousness, the desire to live, joy, suffering, that sort of thing. Because
I think that, yeah, I can explain this. So I think that it's not necessarily the DNA when I talk about the species of the human. DNA is just a blueprint, right, for ourselves to construct what is a human being. I think that the species of human means that we're talking about the DNA as well as the physical form, the physical being of a human, and thus the consciousness that arises from that DNA and the physical, anatomy of a human being. So that's what I mean when I say the species of a human being. I'm talking about those things holistically that make up the human anatomy and human consciousness.
Yeah, so what you're describing is not actually DNA, because it's been shown before that human DNA could create humans that actually have equal intelligence to animals.
That's great. That's perfect.
Yeah, so the point I'm making is that it is really all the other traits that you value, the things that give us like the depth of consciousness and whatnot.
I'm going to have to plead ignorance on this because I cannot see the difference. I think that ultimately the species arises from DNA, and that DNA constructing the anatomy of a human, and that anatomy of a human bringing rise to human consciousness. I don't care about a pig's DNA or a pig's anatomy or a pig's understanding of pig consciousness.
Well, here's the thing. The question I have is, do you think it forms a logical contradiction to say that non-human DNA can form an anatomy that has comparable levels of consciousness to that of a human?
Yes, and if it does, I give those beings more consideration, just like the aliens that I talked about.
I'd like to see the arguments for the contradiction there.
Okay, maybe I'm misunderstanding. Are you saying that if a being has a high functioning level of consciousness, but is not a human, as in it doesn't have a human anatomy and human DNA, that I extend moral consideration to it? The answer is yes, because they're able to reciprocate human values.
Okay, so then
like an alien,
that
right?
basically just comes back to what I was saying, which is what I've been trying to get at for a long time, which is that it's not actually human DNA in and of itself that you value. I mean, if I had a jar of red liquid filled with human DNA.
Yes. If I have a necklace, so for example, my friend has a necklace with a strand of human DNA in it. I don't grant moral consideration to that necklace, right? They had it synthesized from a cell. I don't give moral consideration to that. I consideration to when that DNA is able to create a human anatomy, and then the human anatomy is able to spawn consciousness.
Right. So the point I'm getting at is it's not about the DNA itself. It's just about the things that just happen to usually come with that DNA. It's the other traits. It has basically nothing to do with the DNA. Well, the point I'm getting at is that being part of the human species.
What word do you want me to use? What word do you want me to use for what I'm talking about when it comes to species?
Well,
when I say
I'm getting at is that it just sounds like you're talking about everything that has nothing to do with your genes. You're just talking about consciousness, depth of experience, that sort of thing.
Correct. I'm talking about those genes and their expression.
Wait, I thought we already went over this. So, no, we already established that regardless of your gene expression, if you have a being that can reciprocate these human values, as you say, then that being has value.
Yes, that's true. It's an and/or statement.
Okay, so I don't see where the human DNA part comes in then, because it seems
that's why I wanted to stop the conversation and ask you, when I say human species, I don't necessarily mean exactly human DNA. I'm saying human DNA that expresses itself into a human anatomy and then gives rise to human consciousness. What word do you want me to use for that? I normally call that species. What do you want me to call it?
Well, I would call it consciousness because that's the trait you're valuing.
That's fair. However, I'm making a discrimination against a consciousness that arises from a physical anatomy of a human.
Well, regardless, this is all besides the point, because you've already told me that the trait of reciprocating human values in and of itself is enough to ascribe enough rights to that species or person or individual that we shouldn't factory farm them. So I'll just follow up with some questions on that to test that moral system. So, for example, if we have a mentally disabled person that has the same intelligence as an animal, of which there are many out there, and their DNA, by the way, was altered such that they're not human. It changes nothing except that technically they can't breed with other humans because the DNA is incompatible for whatever reason. Would it be okay to factory farm those individuals?
You know I can't answer that question until we talk about what I mean by species.
I'm looking for a yes or no.
He's not answering the question because
go ahead and ask the question again. Go ahead.
Well, okay, so if we take species, Okay, well, regardless, look, if we're taking species to mean an individual who cannot breed with other humans, and then we apply all the other traits to this individual. They're mentally disabled, like a lot of mentally disabled humans that already exist out there, to the point such that they have a similar level of consciousness to farm animals today. Would it be okay to factory farm them, yes or no?
No.
Okay, so that's going to form a logical contradiction.
My friend, I don't know where to go from here. I'm trying to extend an olive branch so we can use the same vocabulary. I'm trying to say that a being, when I say species, I mean something that has DNA and then expresses itself into a physical form and gives consciousness. You keep saying it's just the DNA.
Yeah, this individual has all those things. Both the animal
it's not
and
okay. Correct. It's not
it's
okay.
Not okay to factory farm the animal either.
It's not okay because they have a human's consciousness.
Wait,
it's the species
what?
of human. I do not think it's okay.
Wait, but we just established that the so-called human consciousness it has is equivocated to the degree of animal consciousness.
In this regard,
it basically just means equal. It's equal to the animal's consciousness in this case. So whatever human consciousness, like that trait that you've ascribed, these individuals share that with animals.
Okay, yeah, so they're just human. Yes, I'm confused. Yeah, I'm gonna have to plead ignorance on this one.
Okay, so maybe this will clear things up. These mentally disabled individuals, they have the same degree of consciousness as factory farmed animals today, right?
Yes.
And also, their DNA is technically not that of a human. So they basically, if they try to breed with another human, the genes just wouldn't be compatible for whatever reason, right?
Yes.
Everything clear so far? All right.
Yeah.
So you have these individuals, and they have an equal consciousness, an equal degree to experience pain, desire to live, all that, to factory farmed animals. Would it be okay to factory farm these individuals?
Yes, I think so. I think I understand what you're saying. So you're saying there's a pig with the level... hold on. I think I understand what you're saying, Fallen. I think you're saying that if there's a pig with what we would consider to be equal human consciousness, right? But they have no way of expressing that consciousness to us, correct? I think I understand what you're saying. So it's like a pig, like I could be talking to, there's a bird outside my window, right? That bird could have human consciousness right now, correct? Am I okay with slaughtering that bird for feathers or for meat? That's ultimately what you're saying, right? You're kind of reducing the traits that I said in terms of like DNA, species, and anatomy down to the consciousness, right?
Well, I was talking about the mentally disabled individual. I was asking if you'd be willing to factory farm them.
Well, I would say no for that because they have DNA, anatomy, and human consciousness. They have the trifecta.
No. He just said that.
I removed those traits in this case.
Then it's okay. Then it's okay. If it's a pig with human consciousness, but they have no anatomy, they have no anatomy, they have no DNA. That's fine. Yes, that's fine. I understand what you're saying now.
So just to ramp things up, let's say we've got...
Wait, he said not a pig with human consciousness. He said a mentally disabled human, right, with the consciousness of a pig. Like a mentally disabled human, their DNA is altered, right, but they have the intelligence of a pig.
I see what you're saying.
So let me repeat
back. Yes, I think I understand. I understand. I think what you're saying. Hold on, slow down. You're saying you're just taking every one of my traits and then you're saying, hey, what if this animal just has one of them? So for example, if there was a bird that just had human consciousness, is it okay to slaughter that? If there was a human that had bird consciousness, is it okay to slaughter that? Ultimately, I'm going to have to make this an and/or statement for those three things which I consider species. So when I say species, if you ask me to define species, I'm going to say, ask me to define human species, I'm going to say, has the anatomy of a human, has the DNA of a human, and or has human consciousness. Those are the things that I would give moral consideration to.
Yeah.
So if you could show me, right, that horses and pigs and chickens have the same level of human consciousness, that fits one of my traits. I would have to concede on that. If you were to show me a chicken that was had human DNA, right, I would have to concede. If you were to show me a bug, a bug that had any one of those three, right, I would have to concede.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how many times we've clarified
those three
this.
traits and or make up what I think is the human species.
No, we're saying, right, a human being.
You're cutting out, Cain. You're muted. Cain, you're muted.
Oh dear. Yeah, no. We're saying, right? You take a human being, right? There's a human.
Correct.
Right.
I got it. Yep.
Okay, their DNA is
human anatomy. Yep.
Okay, no, human anatomy, human DNA, whatever. Human DNA is altered by the radiation that Fallen was talking about. They're no longer a human by DNA. Their consciousness, say they were mentally disabled, so now they've got the intelligence of a pig. Is it okay to send them to the slaughterhouse, hang upside down?
No, because they still have the anatomy. I understand it now. Yes. No, because they still have the anatomy of a human.
Oh, so by anatomy,
it's DNA.
No, I said
because when I say
the DNA is changed by the radiation machine, right? The radiation.
I'm going to say it back to you to show that I understand. Let's say a human were to walk into a Chernobyl-like incident. Their DNA would become scrambled so that it is no longer human DNA. Then furthermore, their human consciousness would be destroyed so that they had the consciousness of a pig, right? Mm-hmm. But they still have human anatomy, so I would grant them moral consideration.
Okay, then, so it's the anatomy, but by anatomy you mean like what, arms and legs?
It's an and/or statement. It's DNA, consciousness, and or anatomy. I understand. So for example, I would have to concede, if you were going to say, Cain, if you were to say, hey, there's a pig that went into radiation. Oh, this is perfect. If you were to say, there's a pig that went into a nuclear radiation fallout, and that pig's DNA got scrambled and became the exact same, hypothetically speaking, the exact same as a human. Right? Yeah. And then it also gained human consciousness, but it still had the anatomy of a pig. Yeah. I would immediately have to concede and say, yes, I grant that moral consideration.
Okay, so all right, so see, and that's so the reason why it's not okay to kill the kill the human being is because the human being without the human DNA who's mentally disabled is simply because of their anatomy, like their arms and their legs.
Not simply, it's an and/or statement. It's anatomy in that case. Correct, Cain.
Okay, so anatomy. You got it. Okay, Fallen, you can continue.
Right. So essentially you're saying the body they currently have in place, because it resembles the structure of what that DNA once created.
That is correct.
That's what you got.
That is correct, 100%. If there was a bug that gained human consciousness and somehow, I'm doing the hypothetical thing, right? If there was a bug that got hit by lightning and became a super bug and gained human consciousness and human consciousness and human DNA, immediately I would have to concede and say, hey, we need to create laws to protect that bug. Even if a whole species, if we fucked up our environment so much and the seagulls started drinking nasty seawater that had nuclear waste in it, and they gained human consciousness and human DNA, just human consciousness, I'll just take one of them, immediately I would have to concede and say, yep, that's that we have to protect these seagulls.
All right, well, the individual I'm talking about is experiencing the opposite. It's just a person who was born mentally disabled, which you already said you wouldn't factory farm. And also, they were exposed to polonium radiation, and their DNA was altered such that they're not technically in the category of human anymore.
That is correct.
Mostly they remain the same, though.
Yep.
And finally, their consciousness for being disabled is about equal to that of like the average factory farmed animal.
Yes, that is not okay because they still have the anatomy of a human being, a human species.
So let's say that the individual in question was taken to some Nazi experimentation lab, and their body was altered such that they actually now had the physiology of any farm animal you're choosing.
Go ahead.
Would it then be okay?
100%, yes, because they fall outside of my definition of the human species. 100%, yes. If they were something that was not a human, right? I'm sorry, I'll be more delicate with my language. If they were a being that had no kind of human consciousness, as well as their body was physically manipulated.
They have the same consciousness as a lot of mentally disabled individuals today.
Then I would grant them. If they have human disabled consciousness, I would grant them more consideration. Immediately, I would concede.
Wait,
but human disabled consciousness is equal to that of the farm animals in question that you are okay with slaughtering. So
that is correct. That is correct. Because they still do not have any of the others.
Wait, but you said it was an or statement. You said it didn't have to be all of them.
It's an and or statement.
Okay. So you said one of the things that it could be is, if a being had human consciousness, it's not okay to murder them. But there are animals who have equivalent consciousness to some humans.
Correct.
So
correct.
Okay,
but I think that
so
human consciousness. I think that human consciousness is on a spectrum, right?
Yeah.
So we have Cain has his own human consciousness.
Yeah.
Somebody who is mentally handicapped has a different level of human consciousness.
Yeah, and it's the same as a pig.
Just because that person has a different level of human consciousness, I don't think that level is the equivalent to pig consciousness. It's on a spectrum.
Actually, you can point to individuals today that have equal to or even less consciousness than a lot of factory farmed animals. And
that's fine because it's still on the human spectrum.
Yeah, and the pig and the.
I would immediately concede. So, for example, I'll do the opposite. I would immediately concede if you were to say, "Hey, we took this disabled person, right, and we gave them pig consciousness, right?" I would say, "Hey, that's not on the spectrum of human consciousness. Hey, Cain was right, man. If Cain wants to kill these people, hey, it's okay, but I'm not gonna try to do it."
So just to be clear, if if a human being was was mentally disabled, so they had the consciousness of a pig, you're gonna be like, okay,
it's on no. I think that human consciousness is on a spectrum. I'm understanding when you guys are saying a mentally handicapped.
I have to interject here. That spectrum that you're talking about, animals fall within that spectrum according to your definition.
Go ahead. How so?
Yeah, so if those mentally disabled individuals are on that spectrum, and I can point to animals that have equal to or greater consciousness on that spectrum, then if I could point to animals that have equal to or greater consciousness than those individuals that you consider to be on that spectrum, then
you're misunderstanding me, my friend. You're misunderstanding me. Spectrum doesn't mean a holistic spectrum. I'm talking about the human spectrum, and then there's pig spectrum, right? So if you can imagine two spectrums next to each other, 0 being null, and 10 being high, if you were to say a human has the consciousness of a disabled human has the consciousness of a 3, right? And you were to say the pig has a consciousness of a 3. I still think there is a difference between those two consciousnesses. They are on a spectrum, but they do not share the same spectrum.
Wait, but there's a difference between 3 and 3. Have you?
No,
did
they're
you pass
equal.
your
3
two
and 3, they're
maths?
equal, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm saying a mentally handicapped person has a, on their spectrum of humans, right?
Yeah.
They have a 3, whatever
Yeah.
that means in terms of consciousness, right?
Yeah.
And a pig also has the consciousness of a 3 in terms of pig consciousness.
Yeah.
I would say that these two consciousness are equal in terms of
Yeah.
their level of consciousness,
Yeah.
whatever that may be.
Yeah.
But I'm saying they are different in terms of a human's consciousness and a pig's consciousness.
What? That doesn't make any sense. So why are they on
You cut out Cain. Go ahead.
that doesn't make
Say it
any
again.
sense. Why are they on different scales? What?
Because they're different. Because their consciousness arises from different physical, different physical anatomies. I think there's a differentiation there.
And we said human beings who were like messed with at a Nazi exploitation camp. Yeah, their anatomy was messed with. Hitler like messed with their anatomy on a
Correct.
camp.
But this is the brilliance. This is the
Yeah.
brilliance of what Fallen has demonstrated. This is like the cool
Yeah.
thing. The consciousness doesn't direct in this situation. Their consciousness didn't arise from that Nazi experimentation. Their consciousness originated from human anatomy. So there's the difference in that thing. Hold on,
Oh.
Discord's bugging out. I need to disconnect. I'll be right. There we go. Sorry, I lost your face again.
Yeah, okay, so so basically, right, it's because the human being used to have the human anatomy, basically.
Correct. It created human consciousness. Now I'll bite the bullet. I'll say what is the thing that fucks all this up? Let's say there was a human being at birth that got before they were even the zygote in the egg. There was an alien, right, that had the exact the egg and sperm that was getting ready to create a human and thus create the DNA and then thus create the physical anatomy and thus create the consciousness. If they were to change that with a bird, right, and the human being magically would still grow up, and then they were being able to get disformed, if you could prove all of that to me, and some evil person was going to say, hey, we're going to kill this being, I would say, yes, that's completely fine. That actually is not a human.
No,
right?
it
doesn't look like a human.
Does it even have to be like
it doesn't
a
have
bird's
human
egg?
consciousness.
Does it even
Go
have
ahead,
to be
sorry.
a bird's egg? Like, it could just be like, say, for example, there was, say, poison in the semen or something like that, and like,
Sure, it could be for sure.
Okay,
for
so
sure.
if there was poison in the semen, so that the human, right, not only grew up to be mentally disabled as such that they had the same level of consciousness of a pig, they're also physically disabled.
Well, they
so
wouldn't
that-
have, correct, but there's a slight difference. They would not have human consciousness, right? Because the poisoning of the sperm in your hypothetical,
No, they have
right?
the same consciousness.
Go ahead, sorry.
Well, they have the same consciousness as some mentally disabled humans, right? So they have the same.
Well, no, I would say that these are fundamentally different. In your example, we've created an entirely new being that has a different kind of consciousness, right?
No.
for-
There's human beings who exist who have the same level of consciousness as
Correct.
a pig. Okay, so
Same level, not the same kind, same level. I agree with that.
okay, so the same level, right? Say something happened in the woman's womb, so that now the babies they have legs for arms and arms for legs or something like that. And
Okay.
what was the other one? The radiation that altered the DNA. Is it okay to murder them?
Yeah, so I'm going to say yes and then repeat back to
Right.
make sure I understand what you're saying. I'm going to repeat
Yeah.
back to make sure I understand what you're
Yeah.
saying. So you're saying if there is a, before the sperm meets the egg, both
Yeah.
of those things are poisoned so that the anatomy of a sperm and the anatomy of the egg, when they come together, they're going to create a being, correct?
No, actually, no. I can change that. It doesn't even have to be before the sperm reaches the egg. We can say, in the woman's womb, say the woman like gets into an injury that messes with the fetus.
I don't think that
and now
justifies. Yeah, correct. I don't
Wait.
think that is the case. I think that just because a woman has some kind of pregnancy problems, I don't think that changes the anatomy. I'm sorry. I don't think that changes the anatomy that's going to give rise to human consciousness.
No, it's a hypothetical. Like, say she
No,
got
I
shot
agree.
by like a magic bullet.
Oh, a
but,
magic.
like,
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah,
Can
the
you start
woman
over
got
from the
shot.
beginning? Sorry.
Okay, so a woman who's pregnant gets shot by a
Yeah.
magic bullet.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
yeah, that means the fetus has like legs for arms and arms for legs, right?
Okay. All right.
The fetus is born, has like a mental disability. That means they have the same level of consciousness as a pig. It's say the being grows up and they get like some radiation that alters the DNA. Is it okay to murder them?
Yeah.
Is it okay to murder them?
I think so, because that human, right, does not have human consciousness, and you're hypothetical.
Yeah.
Does not have human consciousness. They do not have the human anatomy that would give rise to human consciousness, and nor do they have human DNA.
All right. Well,
But I'm going to make the positive, where I would say it's not okay to kill that person.
it's not okay.
And I'm going to make a crazier hypothetical.
Why-
Let's
why
say
not?
that in the mother's womb,
Wait.
things got mixed up.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm always making sure that I have a way that I can concede, right? So I'm saying that I'm going to use your hypothetical and change it so I have to concede, right? So here we go. Let's say that in the mother's womb,
Yeah.
the craziness happened, the magic bullet happens,
Yeah.
where the anatomy gets completely fucked up, right? And they also get dismembered, and also they get their DNA fucked up. So they no longer have any of the traits that I consider to be part of the human species. But now let's say they get hit with a second magic bullet
Yeah.
that gives them somehow through magic, because it's a hypothetical, right?
Yeah.
Somehow through magic gives them human consciousness that would be the same consciousness that arises from human anatomy. Immediately, I would say you cannot kill that being.
Okay,
You
and
cannot factory farm that being.
and we're asking you if the fetus, if like when the baby was born, they had a mental disability, that means they have the
Correct.
same level of consciousness as a pig. Is it okay to murder them?
No, because they might be equivalent, but they're not on the same spectrum.
What do you mean by not?
Do you
on the
have
same spectrum?
can I share my screen? I'm going to pull up like MS Paint to show you what I mean. I think it's going to be like pretty clear. So hold on. I need to make sure I have no. God, this is going to be a huge meme if I get right. All right, hold on. Oh, I can't share my screen. So can you draw? We can do it with you, right? If you have a piece of paper in front of you, if you draw 2 lines on that piece of paper and number them on a number line 0 to 10, right?
Wait,
One of those spectrums. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, let's see. Paint. Okay, I've got paint open.
Okay, now draw 2 vertical lines that are equal in length.
Okay.
Okay.
Yo, what up, guys?
Now number them. Hold on, please. Now number them 0 to 10. 0 being at the bottom, 10
Okay.
being at the top.
Okay.
Now under one of those lines, write human consciousness.
Wait, one sec. Oh God.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm not used to using like paint and that.
No, it's all good, man.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay.
Yeah.
Pig consciousness.
Yeah, you can just do PC for right now.
1, 2,
HC and PC.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
All right,
Okay,
so now you
that's,
should be looking at 2 vertical number lines numbered from 0 to 10. One is for HC, which is human consciousness,
Yeah.
and the other is PC, which is pig consciousness. Now,
Okay.
where do these conscious spectrums come from? I believe that they come from the development of human anatomy. So when you ask me, if you choose a different color right now, if you ask me, there's a human with a consciousness of 3. You can go ahead and take blue and mark a blue line on the left number line, right?
Wait, okay, blue line on the left number line. Okay, at 3.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, at 3. Now on the right, that's the pig consciousness. Take the color red and mark it at 3 as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would say that the pig's consciousness and the human's consciousness are equal. However, the differentiating factor from them is one is human consciousness and the other is pig consciousness.
Okay, but
right?
why...
You see the difference that I understand it to be now?
Okay, but why does one get ranked on this spectrum and the other get ranked on the other spectrum?
Because, yes, perfect question, Cain.
Yeah.
Because the anatomy that gives rise to those two consciousnesses are different.
Yeah, but I said, right, a woman, right, she gets shot in the womb with a magic bullet. That means that the baby is going to have legs for arms and arms for legs. So they don't have a human anatomy. So why are they ranked on the human scale?
Perfect, Cain. Yes, I love it, my dude. So I would say that human arms and legs don't actually... I would say human arms and legs... Hold on, Killuman, I gotta turn you down a little bit. I can still hear you, my dude. Cain, perfect. Human consciousness, I think, does not arise from the displacement of human arms and legs. I think that human anatomy... I think... So you're asking me, hey, English... Why are you saying that the same consciousness, because the anatomy is different, right? This person has arms for legs in this hypothetical.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that I think that human consciousness, when I'm talking about the anatomy, that comes from our central nervous system. I don't think that your human consciousness...
nervous system.
This guy doesn't stop. He's on some crazy shit. I don't know what the
fuck. This is so easy. Okay,
go on.
Let me slow down.
Okay.
Your arms and legs are not responsible for consciousness, Cain. If I were to take one of your arms or legs off right now, I would still consider you to be human conscious.
Okay.
So if somebody was in their mother's womb and they got shot by a magic bullet, and you're a hypothetical, right?
Yeah.
And their arms were changed for their legs, I think that their human consciousness would be the same. Because they don't have... Human consciousness does not come from your arms or legs. It comes from your brain. It comes from something different.
Yeah, and I said, right, they've got a mental disability that gives them the same level of consciousness as a pig. Okay?
The same... Correct. Now look at the screen. It's the same level, but it's still different kinds of consciousness.
Okay,
right?
How is it a different kind of consciousness?
Because the anatomy that gives rise to pig consciousness and the anatomy that gives rise to human consciousness are different anatomies.
Wait, what?
So the anatomy of a pig that gives rise to how pig's brains forms, that anatomy is different than how human brains form.
But I just gave you a woman who got shot in the womb with a magic bullet that gave the baby a different anatomy. So
correct. But hold on, Cain, you're 100% right. You did do that. But the thing that you changed about that anatomy was the arms and legs. And I personally do not believe that human consciousness comes from whether or not you have your arms and legs in the wrong spot.
It comes from
my example for this would be
which pigs also have. Pigs also have brains and central nervous systems.
That is correct. That is
correct.
That is correct.
Have the same level of consciousness as a pig. So why are they on different scales?
Because this is 100% true. I think that the DNA that forms those central nervous systems are different.
Yeah, and I said, right, the kid grows up, and it doesn't even have to be when they grow up. Say, like, they got some radiation, right?
Yes.
The radiation altered the DNA. Is it then okay to factory farm them?
Correct. And I'm going to state back all of your things back.
Yeah.
That's correct. Their DNA is no longer human. Their consciousness is no longer human. And their anatomy that gives rise to that consciousness is no longer human.
Yeah.
That is correct. That is a different species, in my opinion.
Okay, and is it okay to murder them, turn them into burgers?
That is correct, because they are no longer a human. They are you created a new species.
Okay, so wait, Illuminati. Before I wrap it up, Illuminati, is there anything you want to say?
Nah, I'm enjoying this, bro.
You just laugh.
You make me laugh, bro. You make me laugh.
Yeah. Okay, so just to be 1000% clear, if a human being got shot in the womb with a magic bullet that made the kid have arms for legs and legs for arms.
Incorrect. Incorrect. You got to change the central nervous system, remember? Because I don't believe that human consciousness comes from whether or not a human being has an arm or leg. And I would point to examples of kids being born without arms or legs, and they still have human consciousness, because that arises from human beings' central nervous systems.
Right, but there's... Okay, so... Alright, so they got shot in the womb with a magic bullet that, like, not only gives them legs for arms and arms for legs, right? They've also got a slightly altered central nervous system. So
that's all you had to say. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So they have the mental capacity of a pig. They're also mentally disabled. That gives them the mental capacity of a pig. They grow up. They get hit by some radiation that changes their DNA. It's okay to, chuck them in a gas chamber, hang
yes,
upside
this
down.
Is perfect. But Cain, this is the thing. This is the thing that now on that in between those two lines, right? I need you to draw a third line for the being that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right? Because the central nervous system that you're talking about no longer is a human central nervous system. It no longer has a human consciousness.
Wait,
right?
What's wrong?
By your own admission, you can at least admit this to me, that when you're talking about changing the human being's central nervous system, you understand that I think that human beings' consciousness comes from the brain in our central nervous system. If a being does not have that central nervous system...
One second. I need to fix this screen share. Okay,
go ahead. I was watching it.
Okay.
It was good. You were drawing in a red line. It's fine.
Alright, let me just load down the frame rate.
What's happening here?
Okay then.
Sounds interesting.
Okay then, go live. Okay then, continue.
Guess not.
So the being that you created, it's a long. Me and Cain have gone deep. I guess you can watch his stream. Look at that, Cain. I'm getting you views, man.
Yeah.
Check the VOD. Check Cain's VOD. Subscribe to Cain. So the central nervous system that you're talking about when you say the mother in the hypothetical, the mom got shot by a magic bullet, and it changed the baby's central nervous system. That is no longer the central nervous system of a human that gives rise to human consciousness.
Yeah.
So now you've created a third line. Now, if you number that through one, now just do magic bullet, MBC, magic bullet consciousness. And then if you number it from 1 to 10, and then draw the line at 3, so it's equal but not the same with a pig's consciousness, then there you go. I agree with your hypothetical.
Oh, God.
What the fuck?
See, this is what I was talking about an hour ago, right? This is baseless discrimination. So, like, just because someone has, like...
That's incorrect. I'm discriminating based on human consciousness, human anatomy, and human DNA, and/or. Cain, you probably... You can at least admit you understand where I can see human consciousness as being different from pig consciousness,
to be honest,
right?
I think
he just wants you to submit to his views and shit.
I'm just explaining. Cain's asking, kill Illuminati. Cain is asking me questions, and I'm just trying to explain.
Okay, to be honest, I think this is what would be called an ad hoc rescue, right? Okay, so this is what I think it is, right?
Submit to my will, or else I will give you an endless rampaging of me on Discord.
I feel like
bro. That's how you sound. Like,
Gotcha.
Yeah, I feel
Sorry,
like
it's just exciting.
Bro.
There was another guy who came in.
I feel
he was
like
asking me questions, and he actually asked me a question that made.
Okay, wait. I feel like you just, like, every time we trap you in a corner. You just make something up to just like.
Hey, can I ask you some questions now?
Okay.
Where do you think that human consciousness comes from?
The brain and the sense. What human? I don't know what you mean by human consciousness.
God, man, God.
Different human beings. Different human beings.
Comes from God, man.
Different human beings have different levels of consciousness. Okay, so I don't know what you mean by human consciousness.
Discrimination.
I see. So this is your perfect. Now, if you were to draw a line, a complete line, you would say that all sentient beings. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Send me a message about it, Illuminati and Hapcool.
Alright, cool.
And how?
So, Cain, what you're saying is this is where you and I differ with our perceptions of where consciousness comes from.
Yeah.
You think that all sentient beings are in the same spectrum of consciousness. I just don't believe that. And the reason that I don't believe that is because
Well, it's not really a spectrum.
Go ahead.
There's different things about our consciousnesses. Some can have different personality traits, but like you was one who mentioned spectrum, so I just drew out your little
I'm sorry. I understand. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, but you believe, so I'm trying to think about it like as a visual. So you think about it like as a circle, and every conscious being falls inside that circle, right?
No, it's not really a circle. It's more like a tree. There's different.
Perfect. Yeah, that's a good way of explaining it too. Yeah.
There's lots of different attributes that someone's personality could have. Like some could be more intelligent, like me. Some could be like very ad hoc, like you. Some could be there could be there's different aspects. Some could be more trustworthy, some could be more
I got you.
There's different things about people's personalities.
Thing real quick?
But
that's fine.
One sec,
I'm gonna say hold on, I just want to talk with Cain for a second. We've been talking about my point of view. I just want to ask him.
Wait, guys,
I'm sorry.
1 second.
Shit, you don't leave no room.
Wait, one sec.
Cain, I can't really hear you, sorry.
There's different things about different people's personalities, right? I don't think that and I don't think that simply being a pig justifies stabbing them in the throat and turning them into bacon and selling their flesh on the market. Okay.
I understand that.
Okay, so
you're saying that all of consciousness kind of springs from like a tree. What is the origin? What are at the roots of that tree?
No, not necessarily a tree. I'm just saying like there's lots of it's a lot more complex than just a line with numbers. Okay.
I understand. Anyway, where do you think that consciousness actually comes from? How do you judge whether or not something is or is not conscious?
Well, scientists do experiments. There's something called the Cambridge Declaration of Consciousness. There's fish. There's a paper called Fish, Sentience, Intelligence, and Ethics. Scientists do experiments. It's most of the brain and the brain or something equivalent. There's like if you go down to oysters, there's like I give them the benefit of the doubt because they have something called a ganglia. Like there's certain like, but I don't see how just because I'm trying to find out how just because someone's a pig, that means it's okay to just treat them like nothing, chuck them in a gas chamber, hang them upside down, stab them in the throat, drain them of their blood.
If I had paint, I would be able to show you what I'm saying. I think that I think you know what I'm saying, but I just want to go back to my question.
Wait.
I was grilled hard and I stayed here, man.
Okay.
I said Fallen, I answered you.
Okay.
I've been hanging in, I've been trying to do my best. I just want to ask you a couple questions now.
Okay, this is interesting. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. So when I asked you, where does consciousness come from?
Yeah.
You pointed to the Cambridge Declaration of Consciousness.
No,
I understand that paper.
That's
go ahead.
That's just an analysis of it. Like our consciousness comes from the brain, central nervous system, or something equivalent. Correct.
I've read the Cambridge Declaration of Consciousness, and I agree with your description of it.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you, so are you saying from reading that paper, you understand that consciousness arises from a brain and or, right, like you said with oysters, a central nervous system?
Some or something equivalent, yeah. Also, because I believe like say for example,
I agree.
sentient AI,
correct.
Right. Yeah.
I agree with that. I agree with that, Cain. The only difference between me and you is that you think, and there's nothing wrong with this. We're just consciousness. The hard problem, solving the hard problem of consciousness is very hard to do. I understand that. I think that consciousness comes from specific central nervous system and brain's anatomy. Okay. Right? And I understand that you think that all of those beings share the same kind of consciousness. I feel like that's the difference between you and I. I draw a distinction different than you for consciousness.
Okay, yeah, and I'm saying that even if I'm saying what you're saying, right? You're saying they're just different because I'm trying to try to equalize. What is it about the human consciousness that means it's different from a pig's consciousness in a way that it's not okay to murder the human and it is okay to murder the pig? I'm trying to find out what's the difference that justifies all the horrific things that happen to animals. What justifies it?
The difference, we talked about it. The difference is that species, right?
Yeah.
The difference.
I want something that's morally relevant. Like, it's like you just.
We hold different. Okay, this is fair to say. We have different opinions. What is morally relevant? I can appreciate that.
Hold on. Okay. English. Now I'm gonna talk. I've been listening.
Okay,
long enough.
Sorry, you cut out. What'd you say?
Illuminati, go on.
The thing is, you're talking about.
Sorry, I'm muted. Okay, I'm gonna unmute Illuminati. Sorry, my dude.
You shouldn't even be muting me, but go ahead.
Go ahead. I can hear you.
You're talking about consciousness, right?
Yeah.
And that humans are on a higher level of consciousness than pigs or dogs or cows or whatever.
I don't.
Right?
That can be possible.
So let me finish.
So if you're so intelligent,
if you're so intelligent, why do you keep mowing down the earth, killing all the animals, stomping on what God gave you? Stupid motherfucker. For real.
Basically, I just want to know. I want to know I want to know something that's morally relevant, right? You say species because they got like a human consciousness, but like I'm trying equalizing that consciousness and
he got human consciousness, but he ain't got the intelligence to see that he was ruining his own planet, killing all the creatures and all the birds and all the fucking cows and the pigs and the dogs and whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Seems like a lot.
Like if you're so conscious about your situation, you should know that.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of ad hoc reasoning. Like, I think you just.
I think it's ignorance, bro.
Yeah. This is like I'm saying. This is a very dangerous mindset to have. That you're just allowed to decide.
What a nice two-sided argument.
Wait, pardon? Wait, I'm just saying it's very dangerous, like, because humans have held that mindset against each other, or, they have a black people's consciousness or gay people's consciousness.
Let him finish, though.
It's a dangerous road, because then anyone can discriminate against anyone based on these morally irrelevant differences.
Based on ethical things, he's saying the truth. Like before.
Sorry, you cut out, Cain. Go ahead.
Yeah, just saying human. It's not morally relevant, like, because.
Cain, we all decide what is or is not morally relevant.
Okay,
right?
So do the chickens get to decide what is or is not morally relevant? There's more of them than there are of us. So if you want,
they can if they want to. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Exactly. You think they don't matter because they're chickens and we're humans. Other people thought different races of people don't matter because they're not white. Other people.
And I would argue that those people were wrong.
Yeah, and I'm arguing that you're wrong. Right?
Okay.
You're wrong. You should be stopped. I'm saying this is horrible. Like, you seem like a nice guy and all, but you just have a massive ethical blind spot when it comes to animals. Like,
Cain, can you? Yeah. Okay, can I?
Do you ever raise animals at all?
That I would ask.
That's the big question. Did you ever have a cat or a dog
value
or whatever?
Sentience?
Wait, why ought someone value?
Yeah, why ought someone value morally value
because
sentience?
That's your ability to have a first-person experience of life. You got your own emotions, your own experiences.
Why ought somebody value that?
because that's the way you perceive the world. Like, if you take away someone's entire experience, their entire well-being, you've taken their rights away. Like, that's I think killing someone, you've taken everything away from them. You've taken their experiences, their emotions.
So you do understand me. You do understand. I do the same thing, but for humans. That's the only difference between us.
I'm asking you, why not for pigs as well?
Because there's no downside to we get so much value out of not considering pigs.
Yeah, and if I got so much value out of eating you, is it okay to eat you?
Hold on.
Sorry, you cut out, Cain. I can't hear. Can you say
wait, 1 second. Wait, 1 second.
Hold on. Give me 5 seconds, bro. Okay. This guy just lacks empathy. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, true.
He just cannot see that animals are suffering. He just cannot see it. So forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lacks empathy. Yeah.
I will even bite that bullet. I will bite that bullet and say that human beings, like Cain said earlier, their personalities have different levels of empathy. And so for different levels of empathy, I can understand how somebody would consider to extend that moral consideration to animals. I'm not somebody who is high in that particular kind of empathy.
I'm actually someone who was born, I have a empathy disorder, so it's kind of...
Are you a vegan?
Everyone's different with empathy, don't you think?
Wait, Hal,
I got a lot.
Yeah.
Hal, are you a vegan?
Do you think I'm the devil?
Wait. One second. I want to ask Hal, are you a vegan?
No.
No. Okay, but do you agree logically that what
yeah,
vegans
of course. I know how wrong it is. I've watched the videos.
Okay, so she ain't got no empathy disorder. Okay. She got more empathy than him.
Yeah.
No, I still eat meat.
You don't eat.
Yeah, but you realize that it's wrong and it's sad and stuff. So
I just don't
you got more empathy than the other guy. You get me?
Jeez, dude,
you ain't got no empathy disorder. You good? You good compared to him.
To win an argument. Shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Compared to him, she good.
Okay, so.
What do you mean by that? Like, I agree it's wrong. I'm not denying it's wrong. I just simply do not care about the animals.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so I'd like to ask you.
Why are people so crazy?
If you were in the...
Do you hear yourself?
If you were in the...
Go ahead, myself. No. What's up with you?
The Illuminati guy.
Yeah, Illuminati. What's up with me?
That you're just basically accusing him while he's like generally trying to put in a good effort to like argue here. And
how long you been in there?
Like in this voice chat? About the time when you joined.
I don't believe that. I didn't hear you talk.
Well, because they asked me to shut up, so I did. Until you went on a rant.
Good dog. Good dog. Be quiet. Sit.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, you gonna sit now? Because I told you to sit?
Well, if I respected you, I would.
Okay, whatever.
All right,
okay,
guys.
so...
Mad respect, Cain. I wish you all the luck in the world, my dude. I hope that our conversation gets you a lot of views.
Okay, just think about what we're being saying and just your position, it leads to some very dangerous conclusions. But thanks for
coming.
Cain,
it doesn't lead to dangerous conclusions for humans, but it does for animals. I'll grant you that. For animals, it definitely does.
Humans, because someone could just as easily say, yeah, I don't care about these humans because they're not me, they're not like me, and yeah, I don't care about gay people's consciousness.
We have to educate those people and show them that discriminating against humans. We have to educate you
as well, because you're a bigot, bro. You're a bigot.
Against non-human animals.
Against you're still a bigot. Yeah.
Cain, if you wanna say that, my dude, I can
when I join the vegan Discord.
Cain, if you want to say that I'm a bigot towards chickens and stuff like that, I can understand your point of view.
Yeah, this is what I want a world where people like you are held accountable for your actions. Like
Cain, if you give me I live my life pretty much, like I said earlier, 90% plant-based. If you come to the United States and you change any kind of legislation to offer a vegan kind of thing, I vote on this county level, state level, and the national level. Any vegan thing or any animal rights thing, I vote for immediately. If you can come to the United States and do that, respect, man.
Yeah, but you just what? Why? I thought you said that animals
he's
don't
switching
matter.
opinions every 50 seconds.
Why? But you just spent the last 2 hours explaining why human beings, why other animals don't matter because they're on a different scale of consciousness or whatever.
Yes, so because
why would you vote?
Okay, so Cain, my dude, I said that it's morally neutral. Remember?
Yeah, it's morally neutral.
Remember the bug box that I talked about? I expend a lot of moral consideration. I live my personal life completely plant-based. When I socialize with my friends and they want to have milkshakes.
Yeah, that's even worse.
Sorry.
Yeah, this is what I was going to say earlier. That's even worse because when you're around other people, that means you're normalizing the abuse of animals. That's even worse.
Correct, Cain. I can understand that, man. That's an unfortunate reality. I'm not as strong as you. I have social relationships that I don't want to have to navigate in awkward ways, and I get so much life satisfaction out of just hanging out with my friends. If they're like, "Hey, English, do you want to go get a milkshake?" I'm like, "Yeah, man."
To be honest,
if you make it whenever here's what I can do, man. Every time that I go to a restaurant where there's a vegan option, I order it.
You know,
I'm not. You're asking me to be like an Ubermensch. I can't do that for you, my dude. But I can do the best I can.
Cain, how long has he been
talking? Any legislation, I'll vote for. And furthermore, every time I'm out with my friends, if there's a vegan option, I get it.
Okay, but you don't always.
More power to you. You're a morally righteous dude, man. Okay. More power to you.
God, it's been on for 2 hours. Like
2 hours,
bro. I was gonna
say. All right, my friend.
God damn.
Best of luck. Best of luck tomorrow.
Oh, God.
And we might talk again. I don't know. I hang out
content to cut out right now. Shit, you're gonna be famous, English. You're gonna be famous. What an asshole, my guy. I cannot stand this energy.
Okay, anyway,
can I just ask something like real quick?
Okay, are you a vegan? Me?
Yeah, just...
Who?
Yes, you.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at the definition of religious, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
and then he bounces.
Okay, I'll talk to Hal about this. Okay, so Hal, so you said you're not a vegan because you don't emotionally connect. You agreed that it's wrong?
Yeah, I agree that it's wrong.
Okay, so what
louder.
Pardon? What Thomas the Tank Engine? Thomas said. Okay. So, what do you think? Do you have like is there anything stopping you from like abusing humans? Like you don't hold this same stance against humans. Do you emotionally connect with humans as well?
No, I don't. But I do value how people see me.
Oh, so the only reason why you don't go around
self-centered.
Yeah, I guess you can say that.
Okay.
Self-centered shit. Like you only care about other people because you care about yourself. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Do you know KSI?
Okay, that sounds really positive.
Wait. What? One sec. What's Thomas the Tank Engine saying? What are you saying?
Hey, my brother, what are you doing, Cain?
I'm
you streaming this or what?
No, I'm recording. But Thomas the Tank Engine, what are you saying?
You're recording.
Wait, Tom. Yeah, Thomas. Yeah, what's going on?
Good.
Yeah. What is he saying? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah. What? You said something about KSI or something. What were you saying?
Nothing to know. I promise.
What?
Are you KSI's brother?
No, I'm not.
He's not deadgy, my guy. He's not deadgy. Hey, but I could challenge Cain to a freestyle though if he's ready.
Challenge me to a freestyle.
Hey,
wait.
You got a nice mic and shit. Let's go.
Wait, no,
You scared?
That'd be great, but I'm here.
Look at him laughing. He's scared. He's scared. You weren't prepared, huh?
Okay, wait, but I'm here to discuss veganism right now.
Nah. You're turning it down.
Let me just finish talking to Hal.
Don't pussy out.
Okay. Let me
Put
finish.
this on your channel,
later,
brother. It's
but let's
gonna get
finish
some
talking
hits.
to Hal.
Believe me.
I was just talking to.
He's the skinnier version.
I'm the skinnier version of KSI.
Look at him distracting me from the freestyle challenge.
Okay. No freestyling, just right now. I'm here to talk to right now. I'm talking to Hal about.
Motherfucker, you scared or what?
Okay, Illuminati. Okay, I want to talk. Okay, that's very funny, but I'm talking to Hal now. Okay. Illuminati, shush, seriously. I'm gonna have to mute you. I'm gonna have to mute you because you just.
Oh shit! You got the rights to mute me.
Yeah, I do. So just, I won't mute you.
Yeah.
And if you just let me talk
because I laugh at you because you won't accept my challenge. Now you're scared.
All right. Okay, Hal. So
You know Michael Jackson.
Do I know Michael Jackson? Yeah, I know who he is. He died probably before you were born. Okay, so Hal.
Make your microphone louder. I barely can even hear you.
Yeah, that's just you. Everyone else could hear me. Okay, so Hal. So what's stopping you from like abusing humans? Like, is it just because it's not socially accepted because you go to prison? Is that the only thing stopping you from?
It is hard for me to like understand the concept of the consequences.
Okay.
But I do know the consequences.
You guys
And
want
no,
to be friends?
I don't have any desire to hurt people. I have no reason to.
Okay,
Thomas,
Thomas, be quiet, please.
But I would never act on it.
Okay, so you have the desires to hurt people, but you'd never act on it.
No. Sometimes just when people piss me off, I guess.
All right, so but if a human's just doing no wrong, they're just minding their own business, you think it's wrong to hurt them?
Yes.
And you also think it's wrong to hurt the animals?
Yeah, it's definitely.
All right, so the only thing really stopping you is you just feel a bit more. You just can't emotionally connect. It's just an emotional barrier that's stopping you from stopping abusing animals and being vegan.
People either.
You don't emotionally connect to people either.
I like the taste of meat, so I continue to eat the taste of meat. I know that's not a justification, but
yeah.
I still do it.
Okay, so I can close this paint stuff down. Okay, so if you were the victim, say for example, you go into the supermarket, who do you eat?
I'm not sure. It depends on the day. Probably beef.
Okay, so you've seen what happens to cows in slaughterhouses. You don't have.
Yes.
Okay, so
my mom actually used to slit their throats when she worked there.
Your mum used to slit the throats of cows?
Yeah, so I've been taught at an early age what happens to the animals there.
Okay, so that's helped you to emotionally, so you understand what's going on.
Yeah.
But
and I do see meat as corpses.
Okay, so when you got, are you an adult now? Do you live alone, or do you still?
I live with my parents. I'm not an adult.
Okay, so how old are you?
I'm 15.
15. Okay, so if you wanted to be vegan, would your parents let you be vegan?
It'd be hard, but yes.
Okay, so so you basically ask them what you want to eat?
Yeah.
Okay, so next time you ask, they ask you what you want for dinner. I don't know if you've already had dinner this evening. You sound American?
No, I'm German.
You're German, okay. So tomorrow when you ask, what's for dinner, you can say, before you ask, hey, I want some cow flesh, you can imagine yourself in the cow's position, right? Imagine if you were one of the cows who had the throat slit. It'll become a lot easier to just say, you know...
I actually have a hard time putting myself in situations like that. I don't know why, but I just do.
Okay, so, yeah, so the only thing giving you moral agency is just because you don't want the consequences of going to prison and or anything like that. So say if buying murdered animal bodies wasn't socially acceptable, like you get held accountable for it more, and it was less socially accepted, would that change you? Would that make you stop abusing animals?
Yeah, I'd be vegan right away.
Okay, so your actions aren't really dictated by what's right or wrong. It's more dictated by...
It depends on the action.
Okay, so what actions are dictated by what's right or wrong for you?
Things that affect me negatively in the long run, I guess.
Okay, so only
Some small things I'm willing to ignore.
Okay, so only things that are going to affect you negatively in the long run.
Yes.
Okay, so say for example, so if it was the case, so you just said that if it was the case that, you know, eating animal products wasn't socially accepted, you know, you'd immediately stop. Right? But if it was the case that you're in a society where you know, being horrible to humans was socially accepted, like, you know, certain countries, like, homophobia is still a very big thing.
If I was raised in that environment, I'd probably be.
No, what if you just moved there, like, and you know, it was perfectly socially acceptable to be homophobic, you weren't going to get into trouble for it, would you be homophobic?
I am actually a part of the LGBT community, so I'm not sure. I wouldn't.
Right.
I can't imagine myself in a situation like that.
Okay, so say like you were in a society full of racists, where like you're not going to get in trouble for being racist, and it's perfectly socially acceptable to be racist. Would you be racist if you just moved there?
I can't imagine myself in a situation like that.
Okay, so yeah, so say for example, do you have a lot of friends, or?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so say for example, your friends, they said, so your friends say they wanted to like steal from an old lady, right? It was socially acceptable within your friend group to steal from an old lady. Say you had like some guaranteed way of not getting caught by the police.
Oh, I do it.
You do it?
Yes.
So, okay, so, right, so it's basically just, it's about accountability. Like, if you're not going to be held accountable for something, you'd just straight away just say, oh, it's okay to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so, what if you held yourself accountable? Like you had, are you against animal abuse? When you see like say the Yulin Dog Meat Festival, like say if you just walk down the street, saw someone kicking a dog, would you think that person should be stopped?
Yeah, because I know the concept of wrong and right based on what people tell me. I still have a hard time like understanding the concept of wrong and right.
Okay then,
but I do understand it to a degree.
Okay, so I just wanted to know, like, yeah, so what if you held yourself accountable? Like you decided from now on, I'm going to become a better person, I'm going to take responsibility for my actions. If you did something bad then, would you hold yourself accountable, like, oh, I've done something bad, I need to change?
It probably wouldn't bother unless I were to get caught and face consequences, probably. I'd like to avoid that action so I don't have to face consequences again.
Alright, so what if you gave yourself a consequence, like if you do something bad, then I'm not gonna let myself use my phone for a week, I'm gonna not have any treats or something like that.
Probably wouldn't do that at all.
You wouldn't do... So you'd stop doing the bad things?
No, I wouldn't punish myself for anything.
But what if you made a rule that you'd punish yourself?
I probably wouldn't follow it.
So you wouldn't be able to follow it, or...
No, probably not.
Okay, so, yeah, wow. So, have you ever, done anything bad in the past that, you've had some sort of intervention and, like, you've become a better person?
No.
So, so you've never, like, done anything bad in the past?
Oh, I've done plenty of things bad. I will admit to that.
And why did you change? Why did you stop doing those?
I didn't change.
You still do those bad things today?
Yeah, sometimes.
Bad things like
sometimes I just don't think about it and repeat it.
Like what? Can you give an example?
I wouldn't want to go to civics because I'm assuming you're streaming right now.
Okay, fair enough. Like, okay, but yeah, I'm just so you've never like improved yourself as a person, or like?
Yeah, based on like consequences I've received, definitely.
Do you have any friends who are vegan?
Yeah, Cronus is one of my friends who are vegan. I've actually wanted to try it out for a week, see how it goes.
Pardon?
I've actually wanted to try out going vegan for a week, see how it goes.
Okay, so you understand that animal abuse is an injustice, but you just don't change because you're just not convicted enough to change, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so what if you got your vegan friend to hold you accountable? Like, you ask, okay then, look, it's what I'm doing is wrong. Like, what I'm doing is wrong. I want you to hold me accountable. If I pay for a murdered animal body, I want you to punish me. If I drink the stolen breast milk from a suffered mother, if I eat periods from a enslaved chicken, bee vomit from an enslaved bee, I want you to punish me. Would you be able to do that?
I don't think it'd be the same if I asked for it.
Wait, so no, I mean like if you ask your friend, okay, I want you to force me to be vegan. I want you to force me to not force animals into slaughterhouses. And if I pay for animal abuse, i.e. buy flesh, dairy, eggs, honey, I want you to hold me accountable and I want you to punish me. Would you then change?
I guess I would, but I never put myself in a situation like that.
So you wouldn't ask your friend?
No.
Would you want me to ask your friend?
No.
Nah. No, you wouldn't want... Is your friend here? Like, I think I've heard the name...
Yeah, Cronus is here, but Cronus wouldn't follow through with that.
Cronus wouldn't follow through with that. Is Cronus your only
Cronus
vegan?
has only been vegan for like a week.
Alright. Do you have any friends who have been vegan for a while?
No, all my friends actually have bad opinions about vegans.
Alright.
That is one thing that's holding me back.
Okay, so do you have any friends online who are vegans?
No.
No.
Nothing there.
Have you tried? Is this the first time you've been in a vegan space on the internet?
Yes.
Okay, so what if I found you a vegan group who would hold you accountable and like kept you look, you gotta stay vegan like at all times. Would that possibly work?
What would it be, in a Discord group chat?
I could find a website for you. Like, do you have Facebook? I don't know.
Yeah, I do. I just don't use it.
Okay, so
if it's online, I'd probably just lie.
You'd probably what?
I'd probably just lie.
You'd probably just lie. Okay, so you've seriously, in all your 15 years of life, you've never had like had a situation where like you thought you've got to improve yourself as a person?
No.
No? Alright,
None at all.
So...
I never actually considered it.
Do you speak to like any therapists or...?
No, I do not.
No, you don't. And so, wait, one second.
Okay.
Wait,
All right.
enter. Alright, okay, so, yeah, all my family's going to sleep now, but, so, what was you saying about a therapist?
I'm not in a situation where I can get one with my family. If I'm diagnosed with anything, they'd probably disown me. That's what they have done with other family members.
Okay, so, you said you were diagnosed with, like,
I'm not properly diagnosed, but I think it's pretty easy to find out if you're missing emotion that makes human.
Okay, so, alright, so, have you spoken to one of your friends about this?
Yes, I've spoken to Cronus about it.
Okay, what about your other friends? Like, alright, so you're lacking empathy, but so you just can't, like, change yourself as a person.
I mean, I can, I just don't want to. And I can easily mask, the empathy disorder. No one's, like, questioned me about it.
Alright, so, okay, so, alright, so there's no way you could help. Yes. Okay, so, I don't know what to say. So you agree that it's wrong? Yeah, so it's so like what if you ask Cronus to just like, does Cronus help you with any of these issues?
What?
Just help you with your empathy issues?
I don't know how it can be helped.
Okay, well, I mean, we can keep in touch, I guess. You said you were 15, didn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if there's anyone else who's, I don't know, it'd be a bit weird just, like, chatting to a 15-year-old, I guess, but, like,
That would be pretty weird, but...
Yeah, but, I mean...
Say that.
I mean, yeah, so I guess stick around the server then. I mean, maybe you can.
Made a few vegan friends. Andre is one of them. I haven't known him very long.
Okay, I mean, I guess maybe ask her to like hold you accountable for your actions, I guess.
I don't know how you do that over Discord when I can just easily lie.
Alright, well, I guess like maybe as Cronus like is vegan for longer and how old's Cronus?
Cronus is 15 as well.
Alright, I guess as Cronus is vegan for longer, I guess you could ask her, I want you to really hold me accountable when I pay for animal abuse.
Again, I don't know how we do that. I don't know him in real life.
But okay, I mean, I guess just say like, if I eat animals, I want you to just just punish me, basically, I guess.
Sounds pretty weird to say.
Yeah, I mean, has your friend ever held you accountable for anything and made you change anything that was negative?
I mean, they've tried.
Yeah, like, has your friend ever said, okay, look, this what you're doing is wrong, you need to stop, or I'm gonna... has Cronus ever said that to you about anything?
No.
No, I mean, so I guess okay, so I guess yeah, I mean, if you stay in the server, I have to go in a minute, but yeah, I hope when you grow up you can like maybe speak to a therapist about this and remember what you've learned in these servers, because until the day comes that you're vegan, like obviously you know that animals will be abused on your behalf. So I mean, I guess I don't know if you have much of a conscience, but I just...
What do you mean by that?
Like, you seem like you don't have much emotions about this, but like, I guess, do you look back on anything in history and think that was a horrible injustice? Like do you look back on, like, say, the Holocaust? Like,
I've never actually considered doing that. I know it's horrible because I've been told it's horrible, and I have a basic understanding of why.
Okay, like, yeah, just think, like, do you want to be on the side of justice or injustice? Like, do you want to be looked back upon as one of the people who participated in this and spoke, or would you want to be known as someone who was against this and spoke up against it?
How far in the future would this be?
I mean, I hope one day that, what's happening to animals will one day come to an end. I don't believe any injustice can last forever. So yeah, I just want you to think, like, what side of history would you want to stand on? Like, would you want people to look back and think, hey, Hal was, like, responsible for all these horrible things?
Well, I'm not sure if that's coming anytime soon, so I don't have anything to worry about.
Okay, but just imagine, like, if you were one of the Nazis, like you wouldn't want to be looked back upon as like a Nazi, but, like, say for example, if this happens, like the animal Holocaust one day ends, like, you wouldn't want to be looked back upon as bad, would you? Like, say for example, I guess just
would I be dead?
Not necessarily. Like, it could be the case that in a few years, like, what's happening to animals ends. So, like...
Well, it's not affecting me right now. I'm not being looked down upon for eating meat by the majority of people, so...
Do you feel like if you were in Nazi Germany or something like that, you'd feel bad about...
Feel bad?
About being a Nazi?
That's hard to imagine. I don't think I could. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess just... I don't...
Any more, like, descriptions and stuff? What do you mean?
Like, if you were sent back in time, hypothetically, and you were a Nazi, like, if you were in Nazi Germany, would you go on with the Nazis, or would you want to, say this is wrong and, like, try and fight against it?
Knowing what I know now, I'd probably mind my own business and not join the Nazis.
Okay, so it's kind of like that with this. Like, you should not participate in this animal abuse, because why would you not want to be one of the Nazis?
Because they were bad people, when I've been told.
Okay, so...
But I do not hold animals and humans at the same value.
Oh, no, I'm just making an analogy. I'm not saying what Hitler did's the same as what you're doing. I'm just making the analogy so you can, like...
the moderator?
What? No, I'm talking to Hal. I just want you to, like... I'm just trying to help you emotionally make the change.
What do you mean by that?
Like, you said that you understand what's happening to animals is wrong, but you're just not changing. Right, Thomas, if you don't be quiet, I'm gonna mute you, okay? Right, I'm muting you, Thomas. Okay then, so yeah, I'm just trying to help you to emotionally connect with what's going on,
Dogs are breaking, hold on.
Pardon? Hello? Yeah, so, I mean, I guess just, think, like, how we look back on, like, Nazis and slave owners. Like, would you want to be known as one of the oppressors or one of the liberators, I guess? That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying it's the same
No,
thing. I'm just
I
saying
wouldn't,
it's an
but-
injustice. I'm making the analogy to say it's an injustice.
I don't
What
think
side
I'd
of the
be
injustice
alive by
would you
the
want to
time
stand
that,
on?
you know.
Okay, well, I mean, I can't, prove that when this is gonna happen, but I mean, I don't know. Hopefully, when you're an adult, you can speak to a therapist,
I
and
don't think that'd help.
you don't think it'd help. But I say at least try, and hopefully one day, like when you speak to that therapist, tell them that you're trying to go vegan. Show them the footage. I don't know if you've seen Dominion.
Oh yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I've even watched it while eating. I thought maybe I could feel something if I did that, but I didn't.
Okay, so I mean, I guess just hopefully, maybe if one day you speak to a therapist, you can show them Dominion and say you're trying to go vegan, and hopefully they'll help you through that. But yeah, I don't really know what to say, to be honest. Like, it's a very interesting conversation I'm having.
If it helps. I talked to Stove about this actually.
You talked to what?
Stove actually made a pretty good
You talked to
argument. Stove.
I make a pretty good argument.
He was talking about like morals aligning or
Wait,
something like that.
Who was?
Stove.
Phil. Who's Phil?
Stove. Stove.
SP Spove. What?
Stove.
Who's that?
He is a moderator in the server.
Okay, yeah. I guess talk to Spove and hopefully he can
Make
help.
the argument about morals aligning and the loneliness people feel if they can't have connections. He told me that if I went vegan, I could probably try and find a connection towards animal, because recognizing other people's emotions does make me feel a bit more connected.
Yeah, I mean, I say recognize the animal's emotions. There's like some literature on animals' emotions you could read. I think I could send it to you. Okay, it's called The Psychology of Cows. Yes, a very interesting piece of literature. Okay then, I'm gonna send it to you.
Alright.
I'd say, really read about this and try to connect to the emotions of animals and
I don't know how I do that. The reason I'm able to understand human emotions is by looking at their faces, expressions and stuff like that, body language. I don't know how to do that with animals, so I feel no connection.
Okay, so I guess have you ever been to the Save movement?
What do you mean by that? I have no idea.
Okay, there's a group called the Save movement where you go and bear witness to the animals before they go to the slaughterhouse and get murdered.
If going to my mom's work at a young age counts, then yes.
Pardon?
If going to my mom's work at a young age counts, then yes.
Okay, so I don't know if so did you look at the cows in the eyes before they got murdered?
Yes.
And did that help you to emotionally connect?
No.
Yeah, so I mean, so it didn't help you to emotionally connect. You said you spoke to Spove in
Stove.
Pardon?
Stove.
Yeah. I mean, I guess continue talking to him. He said try and emotionally connect. I'm sending you some research on animals.
Yeah, I just don't understand what he meant by emotionally connecting to animals.
Yeah, I guess how you'd emotionally connect to humans.
I barely do. It's just looking at their emotions and recognizing them and being able to, like, you know, feel normal makes me feel less lonely. But I don't know how I do that with animals.
Pardon? Wait, what? So, looking at them makes you feel less lonely?
No, recognizing their emotions and being able to interact with people makes me feel more normal.
Okay, then let's say, I guess go to a sanctuary and maybe interact with the animals there.
What do you mean by that?
Do you know what a sanctuary is?
I have been to many.
You have, and you still don't...
No.
You've not even, like... Have you, like, even changed the amount of animals you eat? Like, do you eat fewer animal products?
No. I eat quite a bit of animal products.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, so I guess, yeah, so, I'm just gonna... I don't know, I guess... Have you read any of this literature about, animal sentience?
Yeah, Stove sent me some.
Have you read them?
Yeah.
And
Stove sent me, of course.
It hasn't helped you at all?
No.
So the only thing stopping you from... So, like, I guess maybe you've got to try and...
Nothing's stopping me.
So, yeah, nothing's stopping you except for your lack of emotion, I guess. So I guess,
yeah.
Hopefully one day you can get to the point where, like, you can hold yourself accountable for your actions, and, like, maybe, like, socially it might become less socially acceptable. You said that'd help.
If it becomes less socially accepted and I'd be, you know, looked highly upon for being vegan, I'd be vegan in a heartbeat.
Okay, so I guess maybe if you interacted with more vegans, I mean, are there any vegan groups near you in real life? Could you, like, look up on the internet?
Of course.
Vegan
I live
groups?
in Germany, they're all around.
Yeah, so I guess maybe join one of them.
I don't think I could.
Why not?
My parents don't really look highly at vegans.
But mate, you couldn't tell them, like, oh, I'm just gonna go meet up with some friends, and then you secretly go to the vegan group or something?
Oh god, no. What if I'm caught?
Okay, I mean, I guess, what if, like, you met with them at school? Are there any at your school?
School? No, there are none. I mean, I do actually have a vegan friend. I forgot about him.
Yeah, so I guess, maybe hang around with more vegans, and hopefully they might help you, I guess.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting talking to you. Thanks for the conversation. It's been very interesting.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else, what did you say your name was again? Hal?
What do you mean?
What, you said your name was Hal?
Yeah, my name is Hal, or Artemis, call me whatever.
Okay. You what? Who calls you whatever?
Yeah. Artemis or Hal works.
Artemis or Hal. Okay, I'll just call you Hal. Okay, nice to meet you. I've got to talk quietly because my sister's in bed, but
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, okay. Does anyone else want to say anything before I go?
You're very good at activism.
Thank you. See on it. Oh,
you really are.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'll be in the server a bit more. I hope you stay in the server, Hal. And so is there anything else anyone wants to say?
No.
No? Okay.
It was really nice hearing you talk.
Okay, you too. I have a YouTube channel, by the way. I'll send it to you.
Oh, that seems cool. I'll see what it's about.
Okay then, I'm actually moving my YouTube content soon, so I'll send you all my channels. A couple of them are empty, but I'm gonna fill them up with content soon. So.
Okay, what kind of videos do you post?
Entertainment videos and also activism videos. So channel. I'm gonna send it to all of you.
Too?
Yeah, okay.
How much subscribers do you have?
100 and something. 110, I think.
Oh, that's a good number.
116, yeah, thank you. Do you have a channel?
No, I had one, but it was stupid, so I deleted it.
Oh, okay. You don't have to be embarrassed, but okay, so I think I sent it to all of you. Yeah, so it was nice talking to you guys. So is there anything else you guys? Is there anything else you guys want to say?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Hal, anything else you want to say?
No, not really.
Okay, thank you. Bye. Oh wait, Pigs, how old are you?
Why do you need to know?
Yeah, just I don't know. It'd be a bit weird, like talking to a little kid. I'd just like, how old are you?
Share that, but I can assure you I'm not a little kid.
How old? You're over like 16, right?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, okay, so see ya, Cronus, yeah. Is there anything else you want to say?
What? About what?
Cronus just joined.
Oh, you just joined. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Cronus.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, we were just talking about, you're a new vegan, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking about, vegan YouTube and stuff like that. Yeah. So, yeah, we were just talking about how we, motivate how to go vegan. Cronus.
Yeah.
We're just talking about how we motivate how to go vegan.
Yeah. Alright.
Okay, so you're already vegan. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're just do you know Hal in real life?
No.
You don't know each other in real life?
No.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I was just saying, like, you know, just I guess more positive reinforcement and encouragement, I guess, could help. She understands what's going on with the animals, but she understands that it's wrong, but she just doesn't emotionally have the empathy to change.
You don't need empathy to change.
So what do you need?
I'm not sure. I just simply don't care.
Alright, well, I think you've engaged honestly. It's been a nice discussion, so nothing else you want to say, Cronus or Hal?
No.
No, okay, so I hope you stay in this server, talk to people. I'll send you, I guess, a few more resources. Where is it? You know, free help to go vegan, etc. Let me just message you.
Where's that sucks? Alex.
This is not an isolated incident. Don't for 1 minute think that this is an isolated incident. This is how slaves are treated. You don't really think that slaves get treated nicely, do you? You really think white people were nice when they shipped black people over here on ships? You don't think Nazis were nice when they walked Jews and gypsies into the gas chambers, do you? And this happens because you want to buy those products. Yeah, that guy's a scumbag for doing that. But he's doing that because you want to eat what comes out of her body. And enough already. You're not a caveman and you're not a cavewoman anymore. Stop acting like Neanderthals. This is 2010. Give it up. It's not cute and it's not funny because animals are being abused. It is not your right, it is not your freedom to do this to them. You don't get to have freedom when somebody else doesn't. That's a violation. And if you wonder why vegans get so upset sometimes, like I am right now, you just saw some of it. Every time we show up at a farm, somebody's punching, kicking, and stabbing somebody. And something else that I'm curious about, how come when I show videos like this of people punching and kicking animals, people are more upset with that than when they shove a knife in their throat? So even if you find a farm where they're not punching and kicking, when they shove a knife in their throat or put a bullet between their eyes, how is that not cruelty?
What? Where's that tux? Somewhere.
Anyway, so yeah, so it's been nice talking to you.
Hey.
Okay.
Good night, Cain.
Good night, Hal. Good night, Cronus.
Night.
Okay, there. Right. Dinas Canham, Wes, you want to say anything? No? Okay then, see ya. Well, that was a very interesting conversation. Oh god, that was a roller coaster. Wait, I wonder what was Illuminati saying? Yo, haha, if you drop this online, let me know, it's too funny. Haha, pussy boy turned me down because I asked for a freestyle battle. But I'm here to, well, I doubt it's Tupac reincarnated, like I'm here to, discuss veganism, but, yeah, I mean, it was an interesting convo. The first guy was just all over the place, like he was enthusiastically just like being horrible in such an enthusiastic voice. It was so weird, like, but yeah, like I don't, yeah, you know, I guess I don't really have much hope for a lot of people changing, but I guess like the reason why I have these discussions is to influence the audience, you know, and hopefully the audience can make changes based on what they hear. Like they can hear the discussions, hear who makes good points, who doesn't, and kind of decide, okay, would I like to which side of history do I want to stand on? Do I want to continue abusing animals through my lifestyle, or should I change? Like, that's why I have these conversations. I do still think these were productive conversations. I think it's not all about whether or not the person changes. It's also about, like, if I've said the right things for the animals, and I hope I have today. So, anyway. Oh, Jesus Christ, it's been almost 3 hours. It's a long convo. Anyway, so, yeah, I guess, let me just see if I can put my webcam on. Prax, what's up? Let me just put my webcam on. Yeah, so perplexed. Those are some very interesting conversations. If you're still here, I mean, I know some people listen to several hour long vegan discussions. Let's see what I made in MS Paint. Yeah. Oh god. So yeah, this is what I made. Yeah. Anyway, you know, leave a like, comment and subscribe. I said all this in the outro. Yeah man, like, comment, subscribe. More content coming soon. I think I need to get someone to like go through the debate with me and see what happened, like, because this is just crazy. I'm actually getting kind of thirsty now. My ice pop melted because I couldn't manage to open it. Like, it actually melted. Right, yeah. Yeah man, I guess yeah man, my sister's in bed now, so let me just make sure I've sent the resources to everyone. Yeah, anyway, so yeah. Oh gosh, I didn't get the I didn't get the English guy. I didn't get his link or anything. Can I find them? Can I find him? Yeah. Even I'm getting kind of tired. I was gonna get a hot chocolate. I didn't expect this to take so long. I might still make one. So yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know if English is still online. But yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know if this is gonna hit the 3 hour mark. Maybe it will. I mean, like, some of my recordings on 2 hours 57 minutes and 45 seconds. I mean, like, there's a bit at the start I've got to cut out, but I guess if I put like in some footage of animal abuse, like, it might even hit the 3 hour mark. Longest video ever made on my channel. No, except for like some compilations, but like, it's a pretty long video. Oh, English is still online. Let me just send the information to him. Yeah, hopefully, in the odd chance he might change his mind, but I feel like that'd take something within him. Like, I feel like that was a very dangerous mindset to have. Like, just the mindset that we should just be allowed to just discriminate against each other at our own will. Like, he says we should draw the line at humans, but like, you know, he didn't explain why anyone should be stopped from discriminating against that could have just as easily not been extended to other humans. Like, I'm not trying to equate racism and homophobia and animal abuse, but I'm just saying, like, you know, this is a dangerous road to go down. Like, you don't want to go down this road. It's not nice. Anyway, God, I've been talking for like 3 hours, bruv. Anyway, in case you're wondering what food I had like all day vegan sausage rolls, all day vegan chicken, barbecue chicken, fucking like, yeah, like Spanish style grains that you put in the microwave, some chips with some Applewood vegan cheese and some Heinz ketchup and some spring onion and some salt and pepper. So yeah, God, heating it all. Yeah, this isn't bad. Heating it all up. Yeah, I mean, like, God. Anyway, yeah. That was just insane. Thanks to, you know, Pigs for the compliment. Like, don't be a dick, it says over here. Let me just respond to Fallen. Yeah, exactly. Just excitedly justifying discriminating and holocausting. He's just so enthusiastic about it as well. Enthusiastically. Yeah, I muted the mic a bit when I was eating, and I forgot to unmute it at one point for the recording. So yeah, I had to repeat what I said at one point. Enthusiastically justifying, discriminating, and holocausting for about 2 hours, and then I had another discussion for a bit of time. Oh God. Yeah, man, I'm gonna still feel like my hot chocolate, man. I'm gonna make my hot chocolate. My parents are gone. So anyway, yeah, man, like, gotta go now. So, oh, Fallen is typing. Fuck, I'm actually getting a bit tired now. My favourite vegan restaurant shut down today. So I have better things to do. Yeah. Good then. CDA. Wait, one sec. Gonna load it eventually to one of my channels. There you go. Yeah, I mean, I'll just knock. Yeah, body got wrecked, but anyway, perks, yo, gosh, CTA. Wait, no, I didn't even show you these messages, did I? What's up? Yeah, I'll look in this server. Yeah, I'm trying to find it on the study archives. I'll find it. Let me see if I can find it. Oh God, this is. Okay then, yeah, I mean, yeah, man, this is long, I'll find it later. I guess I'll add it to the video later if I find it. Yes, anyway. C-D-A. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been in here. Yeah, there was like last one like 23rd of December 2021. This today gone past midnight, from 31st of July to 1st of August. Look at the time, man. Jesus Christ. 2022, man. Hopefully I can get to do more outreach and debates soon. That axiomatic point, I'd have to look into that, but yeah, man. C-D-A. Thank you to the donors. Please consider donating. The links are in the description. Thanks in advance. Thanks for watching. Leave a like to support the video and type a comment to tell me what you thought. Save and share this video around so more people will watch. Be more connected to me and my work on social media. Links in the description, and please consider donating to help support the channel. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. CDA.